Hello, friends. Welcome to Coding Garden with CJ. Welcome to a show where we're going to be talking about Vue Js 3. 50 seconds? What? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. So if you tuned in Monday, we did a basic introduction to Vue 3 and the composition API. Hopefully today, we plan to dive a little bit deeper. We're going to create some custom composition API functions, and we're going to try to demonstrate why the composition API is useful. So that's going to be fun. Welcome to the show. One Piece, yeah. Does anyone know what... Wait, my mouse isn't working. This is not good. This is not a good way to start the stream, but yeah, we got partnered on Discord. Shout out to everybody that's on the Discord, because you did it. I didn't do it. You, the community, did it. Yeah, this is not good. I cannot use my mouse right now. There's a focus mode. Let's do this. Transmogrify, yeah. Is anybody familiar with Calvin and Hobbes? Oh yes, thank you, Mr. Demon Wolf. Discord.gg/codingguard. We got our own custom URL. Nice. T-Cozer has me on the big screen. Yes, obviously. So if you've heard of Calvin and Hobbes, there is a they have the transmogrifier, right? It's a cardboard box, but they imagine that you put things into it, and they are transmogrified into other things. And that's this. It's literally just the word transmogrify. What does being partnered on Discord mean? We basically get like free Discord Nitro. We have a nice little partner badge on our server. What else? We have that custom URL that you saw. Klein with the gifted sub. Thank you very much, Klein. And it looks like we got some other gifted subs. Yeah. Give me a second. Things are happening. My mouse isn't working. One moment. What happened? What happened while I was away? Well, that's duplicate events. Let's go back in time to about right here. Funny Dude, thank you very much for that 4-month resub. Klein with the 1-month resub. Alien with the Twitch Prime 2-month resub. Alien with 100 bits. And Flag, thank you very much for that Twitch Prime sub. Yataic with the 3-month resub. Klein with the gift. And yeah, I appreciate you all. And we're on a hype train! Yeah, that's me. This is the stream from Monday. So if you're interested in learning about like the basics of the composition API, you can go watch that while we say hello to everyone. And Julian, thank you for the 50 bits. Because after we get started, we're gonna get deep into the composition API. How many beanies do I own? Like 4? Like 4 of them? All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the show. If you're new here, let's go ahead and play the drop game. Let's get that out of the way. If you type !drop me in the Twitch chat, your avatar will fall from the sky, like so. Like this. And if it lands in the garden, you'll get a nice little seedling in the garden with your name on it. With your name on it. Revive Newt! Revive Newt's here, everyone. Thank you very much for those gifted subs, Revive New. 10 gifted. Looks like Jagun and Makin and Imacole and Golden Way all landed in the garden. Great work, everyone. I appreciate you, Revive New. Level 2 complete. We've immediately jumped to level 4. Well, everyone, we're in hyperspeed. And Klein, thank you very much for those 100 bits as well. Win32 day, how's it going? I feel like it's been a while. You're probably dealing with school and stuff like that. But they say I am so excited. And thank you, Careless Hippo, for that Twitch Prime sub. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I've signed up on notify.me. Yeah, I've signed up. I don't know when it's gonna launch and all that, but that's cool. Beer Cool says, Vue for the win. Thanks for the new content. Funny Dude with the 10 gifted as well. We got so much love today. All the bits. Thank you for the bits, Nandos. Let's just send some hearts in the chat. like this. And then we're gonna say hi to everybody, and then I'll tell you how all this works and all that good stuff. Steven says, I remember watching your content when you had 3 viewers on YouTube. You deserve the love, man. Oh, thank you, Steven. I appreciate you. Killing it. I mean, I'm not killing it. Everybody else is killing it. I'm just here. You're the ones throwing money at me. Oh, congrats, Dota 2 Attitude. You got gifted. Okay. Let's say hi. So if you... I got to get this ready because I have failed to update my my regular expression. Bogahay to any of the... school is hard. That's unfortunate. To any of the Boga subs here, if you say any of these words, hi, hello, hey, morning, afternoon, evening, howdy, g'day, coding hiyo, vohiyo, or Boga hey, and thank you very much, Klein, for those 5 gifted subs. All kinds of support today. But right now, my chat is filtered. If you and thank you, Fox Swain, for that Twitch Prime sub. But if you say any of these things in the chat, I will notice you. I will acknowledge you. We'll get started. We like to welcome everyone in before we dive into things. Yeah, level 5, 102%. Great work, everyone. I really appreciate you. Is this for beginners? You're welcome to ask any questions at all. I'll do my best to answer them. Yeah. Notify Me had an actual UI. I don't know what's going on. Like, did they change things? And Mark, 5-month resub. Nice. Thanks for being here, Mark. I want that cup. Actually, I don't think I have a link to it. I have a link that will sort of get you there. So, if you go here on Teespring, there's a link to the code cup that I use. Stop scrolling. If you go here, and thank you, Dota 2 Attitude. What just happened? The 2-month resub, and Julian with a 5-month resub. Dota 2 says, "There we go. Morning, and thanks for the sub. You're very welcome. No, thank you. Wait, what?" And Julian with the 5-month Twitch Prime resub. Thanks for the ideas and content. Oh, you're very welcome, Julian. Thanks for being here. But yeah, if you go to Teespring, there is the Coding Garden with CJ store. Here, I'll get you a link. This one, stores, Coding Garden. And we can switch to homeware and mugs. You can see all the different mugs. So if you want a mug, get here. Looks like you have to chat via IRC. Why is that? What's happening, Mr. Demon Wolf? Yeah, those are mugs. We got shirts. Oh, here's the thing. There's a new shirt that I have not talked about. This one, Code Red. It's kind of in the style of Supreme, but it says Code instead. I don't know. All right, let's say hi. We haven't said hi. FV with the first hello 32 minutes ago. Hello, FV. Welcome to the show. What's up, Awaited and Feistrand and Klein and Derby Plops and Jeff, Adrian Engineer. How's it going? Welcome to the show. Welcome. Hello, Drakiljoy and Mihai Andre and Vicious and Overdose of Sadness. Welcome to the show. Keep smile, drink a drink. What did that say? Keep smile, drink, teach new things, keep it up. Thank you. That's what we do here. Shipping to the Netherlands. I have no idea. I would think so, because Teespring is a pretty big company, I guess. I don't know. I would hope so. But what's up, Overdose of Sadness and DevM? Procrastinating watching CJ, welcome to the show. And Daniel H44 and Spinderman and This Code Rocks and Slake and Marasha and Marco and Push and D-Hugh. Welcome to the show. Hello, the bosses and Lynx and Lakshman. Hope you have a good day too. What's up, Golden Way and Tuvox and Jards and Don and Codes with Ankit and Unfair and Who's Good. I am new to your channel. Well, welcome. This is the Coding Garden. We build things, we write code, and hacks. Thank you for that 5-month resub. Very much appreciated. But yeah, we build things. We teach, we talk, we hang out. Teespring does worldwide shipping. Thank you, Sven. Yeah. So yeah, and hang out. And the first part of the show, we just welcome everybody in. So that's what's happening. What's up, Nubin and Tuzo and Princess Apollo and Depopom? Hello, what's up, Mo Saeed? And thank you, everyone, for that hype train. Great work. Ice Cream Tango, how's it going? What's up, Kevin? And Zamar Plays and King Rapula says, hope you are well. What's up? Hello, Alka. 36 subs. 600 bits. Thank you all for those supports. I very much appreciate you. What is transmogrified? Alka, do you have a define command? Define. Transmogrify. Change completely the nature or appearance of. And the Let's Failer, thank you very much for that Twitch Prime 2-month resub. Hype, hype, hype. It means to morph or change shape. Karate Wump, hello, welcome to the show. What's up, Syntax Wax and Sven and Monoloto and Flybanker and Dangerous Mouse and Coding 60 Plus and Randomness. The hellos are the only thing I understand. And what's up, Funny Boy? How am I doing? Want to be able to watch the stream? Won't be able to watch the stream. Check out your PR on the gear page. Yeah, I'll check it out. And thanks for dropping by. What's up, Aknot Now and Martesian Cat and Jonah Joe and Lux Labs. Thank you for those 100 bits. Jays, how's it going? What's up, Harshit and Thon? What do I recommend to test the security vulnerabilities of a web app? That's a whole topic. I would say check out the Mozilla Observatory. This is your first step. This is going to analyze your HTTPS and your SSL certificates and and your headers. Revive Newt, thank you for those 2 gifted subs. Very much appreciated. Wait, are those like... Yeah, I appreciate you. But yeah, this will like test your HTTPS and your header, your secure headers and stuff like that. Aside from that, there are vulnerabilities. Hi. That's so weird. This happened on Monday, too. Do you see me? Hi. I don't know what's going on. OBS just disconnected from Twitch. Does anybody know of any other streamers having similar issues? We see you. No, the stream's not over. No, we're just getting started. Okay. And Infi, is my voice out of sync now? Move to Streamlabs OBS? No, maybe I need to update OBS. I'm not sure if I'm on the latest version. Yes, no. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna keep saying hi. What's up, Xpalma and Varun and I'm Tom Eddie and Funny Dude and Lou. Happy new WoW day. Wow. Leo Karab, how's it going? What's up, my kin? Looking forward to more Vue. Drunk Time Lord, trying to figure out how to publish Dev2 blog straight from VS Code. Interesting. Very interesting. Paranoid Android, what's up? Hello, TM Awesome and Dr. Phantom and Parak and Greg. Morning. How's it going? What's up, Jakob? Guten Tag. Hello, Ricardo. Good morning. What's up, Sir Raven Pie and Sheo and Bantox and DJ McMuffin. Hello. What's up, Mr. Demon Wolf? Majestic Guy says, just caught a 12-pound catfish after trying for 6 months out of small pond. I didn't have my phone. Klein, thank you for those 1,000 bits. An alien with the 200 bits. Much appreciated. Did you really catch a 12-pound catfish? You don't have any proof. How do we know you really did it, Majestic Guy? How do we know? What's up, Copper? Twitch not working well. I don't know. I don't know if it's OBS that's messing up or if it's Twitch. I don't know. Imposter. Good morning, Melky Dev. What's up, 26 and Jerbin and 246 and Casper and Gak. Vika says, you made me fall in love with JavaScript. That's good. That's good. Hello, Folky Bits and Julian. Hello. What's up, Mr. Daniel F. and George and Bamboo and Myosin and Careless Hippo and Commander Zach White. Sequel Gortster says, happy Wednesday. The overlay or drop game seems to be frozen. Really? That was 14 minutes ago, so it's that it may not be frozen. Does it work? Can I? Yeah, there we go. I dropped an emote. Hello, Timon Dev. What's up, Gavin and Katoli and Dramented and Raider and Gataic. Today is my 3-month sub anniversary. Well, congrats. Thanks for being here for 3 months. Hello, NovaScript and Katiko, working on a database migration. Nice. I did some database migrations yesterday. Integrated with some third-party APIs. Set up password reset via SMS in the Twilio API. Yeah, that was my day yesterday. Armad, how's it going? How do I set up my team and all icons beside my name? I will show you. I will show you soon. once I was a busy CJ for sure. Once we're done saying hello to everyone, I'll talk about how you can customize how your messages appear in my overlay. Hello, Big Jam Dodd. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And the bosses with that resub. Thank you very much. 2-month resub. Yeah, and I'll show you how to set your pronouns right now, but this is related to setting your team and stuff like that. So if you do what pronouns, you can see what your options are. So you can do she, he, ze, they, ko, nun, ze, hi, it, one, em, or yo. These are your options right now. If you go by some other pronoun, feel free to DM me on Discord or Twitch. We can add it to the list. We just had to have a sanctioned list of pronouns, otherwise people would troll the system. If you'd like, DM me, Majestic Eye, if you do want to use that pronoun. So pick one of these and then do exclamation mark pronoun followed by one of those. So for me, I would say pronoun he, and then I'm way behind on chat, but you'll see my messages actually have my pronouns in them. Big Jam Dodd, how's it going? What's up, Jean Bleu? Jean Bleu? From France. Samar Pen, hello, what's up, Dario? Silver Feather, what do I think of the new Brave browser? I have no idea. I use Firefox. I mean, I used Chrome for the longest time, but before that I used Firefox, religiously, and then I started using Chrome, but now I'm back on Firefox. I think I'm going to stick with Firefox, but there's that whole thing where they had to let go of a lot of people. I don't know. For the time being, I'm going to keep using Firefox. Kabanks! 3-month Twitch Prime resub. Thank you very much. I didn't see it in my overlay, so that's weird. Coco Loco, how's it going? Hello, what's up, Jay Getachu and Extreme Technicer and Function Jarvis Win320 Day, who is so excited. Welcome to the show. Nick Roy, have I heard about the Notify Me? Yeah, we talked about that. I signed up, I just haven't used it. And Jagin, hello, hello. Yes, and shout out to Revive Newt for all those gifted subs. Can we get some more hearts in the chat? Send all the hearts you have. Now, I haven't used Brave, mainly because it's just Chrome. Why Firefox? Yes, privacy. They have the Mozilla Foundation. I'm pretty sure the Mozilla Foundation partners with the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Is that a thing? If not, both of those organizations are awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Firefox is great. Cool Emir, how's it going? What's up, Luciano and Dark Raven? Forward, how's it going? Hello, Error from Chile. Welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm Nicole, and just shut it down. Howdy. What's up, Alex? And Kung Fu Me and colloquial Al. Looking forward to the rest of the stream. Very good. Thanks for being here. What's up, username unknown 404 and Fame Shark and Martin Cluck and Load Spud and Dota 2 Attitude and Dr. Squeakers. Boga, hey, thanks for being here. What's up, Matthew David? Welcome, welcome. Olaf, good morning, everyone. I thought I got in early, but it's not there. Yeah, it depends on when I open my overlay. I was right on time today, so. And Xlug, how's it going? What's up, Revive Newt? Good evening. Poonchu, how's it going? Hello, Noxy and DV Man and the Mixu and Megacrafter and Jukes. Jukes. Isn't Firefox a bit clunky? Yeah, I mean, I've run into some issues before, but it's good enough. Yeah, Brave is Chrome with ads. Brave is weird. I don't know. We're not going to talk about that, though. We're here to say hello. And we're here to write some Vue code. What's up, Stylin and Thite and Flag and Devo and Muratov and Volchan from France. Very good. What's up, Coding Brown and Philo and Lou Lemouet and Slayer from Australia. Very cool. Howard, how's it going? What's up, Hacks and Florin? I'm doing pretty good. Hello, Chicken and Kabanks and Gory Moon and Ricky you. Shark Week. Is it Shark Week? I don't have cable television, so I don't know when it is Shark Week. Do you find yourself in package hell when using Vue? I find myself needing a package for metadata, animations, Google Analytics. I mean, this isn't a Vue problem. This is more of just a front-end web development problem. Though, you don't necessarily need extra libraries for all this stuff. It depends. But that's kind of the state of things in front-end. What's up, Octave Keys? And Wakar and Funny Dude with the 20 gifted. You were too kind. Look at all these people that got gifted. You were way too kind. Thank you very much, Funny Dude. Oh boy. I avoided saying hello to you because I can't pronounce your nickname. No, I didn't avoid saying hello. I don't think we've made it to your hello message yet. Nua Nuela Robot. That's how you say that. Easy. What's up, Wakar and Sebastians and Footamazy and Far Too Long and Dove Lover and Rickard. And also, thank you, Funny Dude. Thank you so much. Let's get some hearts. in the chat for Funny Dude. What's up, Anna Coates? Welcome, welcome. And Lazy Titan and the Oxty and Mark. You're not late. We're just saying hello. What's up, Suleiman Frani and Fairland and Super Happy Tech from the AU. Welcome. And Ex Davila. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Mishlo and Demigod. Good to be back in Twitch. What's up, Matronox and Eternal Dev Coder and iHaxer and Senek and Leo and Kurdo and Manayamut and Latin de Brahma. We're still reading hellos. We're almost done, though. We're basically done. And CBA, welcome. What's up, Yetsin? And Generic Trombone. I appreciate you for being here. Maybe one day you can get a name brand trombone. And hello, McBelly Shelf. If I have not said hello to you, if you say hello right now, I will acknowledge you. What's up, Goldfish and Kalos? Welcome to the show. Yeah. We're going to write some Vue code. And we kind of need to get started right now. What's up, Fab? And Pico Play. Is there a way to assign a unique URL to a set of to-dos so you can share it with other people? That sounds like an app idea. I don't know of one. What's up, Larson and Nino Sorar and Sivasan and Ubergerosaur and Schnick and Dink and Bimsicle and Oknot now with the gifted sub. Thank you very much. Majestic Eye says hello, just adding to the procrastination. Awesome. We got some redemptions. What do we get? Kenneth Sam with the hydrate. Cheers, Kenneth Sam. I appreciate you. Hardcore with the posture check. Let's move back over here. Matrix, we'll use this focus mode to just do like a quick intro to the composition API, and then we're going to write some custom composition functions. I think the first thing I'm going to do is make like a custom fetch wrapper that has an error state and a loading state and like a result. The bosses. Thank you for that hydrate. Excuse me. Excuse me. I burped. And Mr. Demon Wolf, thank you also for that hydrate. And the stretch. Harshit says, I don't know, you said hello to me before or not. That is why. I believe I said hello to you, Harshit. How's it going? Yeah, I know. So I'm there's a premiere happening on YouTube. People might be asking questions. Oh no, it's over. I guess it's over. So I need to premiere a new one. Hey, we got thumbs up. People liked it. So I need to premiere a new video, and thank you, Little Hero Spark, for that stretch as well. He said my name. What's up, Super Happy Tech? Can we do a group hug? Yes. Yes. We need to do. We don't do a group hug here, but we need to do send all your hugs. Let's just all do a big old group hug right now. Just set aside whatever you're doing. Switch back to the tab if you had me in the background, and join us in this group hug. Yes, that's a good one, Alka. Great job. It's good. It's good stuff. I said hello, but I didn't hear it in your overlay. Well, hello, Armand. Welcome to the show. Okay, we just did this stretch. We got some posture checks. Let's get right into it. We're going to do 8 minutes of focus and talk about the Vue Composition API. All right, welcome everyone. Oh, okay. Not yet. I have to talk about my overlay. So in my overlay, if you want to set your country flag or your team badge, there is more info on that here, ! Badges. So if you go to this Font Awesome brand cheat sheet, any brand on this webpage, you can set your team to. So I'm going to choose Vue Js. I think my team already is Vue Js, but if you do ! Team followed by any one of the things from that web page, now your messages in the overlay will have a nice little team badge next to them. You can see that Dr. Phantom is on Team JS, Erhan is on Team Vue, Yateic is on Team Node.js, Pranjal is on Team Apple, so you can set your team like that. And then you can also set your country flag. So if you do ! Country followed by your 2-character country code, for me, it's US. For you, it may be something else. But that's going to set your country flag next to your messages. And then also we showed pronouns. So you can see what pronouns there are by typing ! What pronouns. That gives you the list. You can pick any one in this list and then type ! Pronoun followed by your preferred pronoun. and those will show up in the overlay. So you can see my preferred pronouns are he, him, his. And then the last thing is you can also set your status. So you can see that my status is exploring Vue. And you can set your status, but it must be safe for work. It must be appropriate. If it is not appropriate, you run the risk of being banned. You will be timed out. So just be nice. Keep it appropriate, safe for work. But you can do !set status, followed by your status. And I'll say diving into the composition API. And we'll do a Vue. And so once you set your status, that will show below all of your messages. Error says it's cool. What's up, Knoxboy? My status is best status. Working, crossed out, pretending to work. Awesome. So that's my overlay. Let's get right into it. If you forgot those commands or you need any help, feel free to ask it in the chat. We're friendly here. We got a lot of people that know how these things work, and that I'm sure they'll be happy to help you. We're going to go into a focus mode, which basically means it's going to be a little bit harder for me to see the chat so that we can actually get some stuff done. Let's go right now. Focus. So what we're going to be talking about today is the composition API in Vue Js. So Vue Js is a front-end framework for building front-end applications. This is comparable to something like React or Angular or Ember or Svelte or many others in no particular order, but it's comparable to those types of things. You can build front-end websites with it. And they recently, like a few days ago, released version 3.0, which added some cool new things. In one thing in particular, the composition API is what I'm excited about and what I'm going to demonstrate today. So let's take a quick stretch. This is my break timer. And we'll show a quick example with the composition API. But one thing I'll show you is that the Vue 3.0 is on this repo called Vue Next. So the older version of Vue is Vue Js 2. Vue 3 is the latest and greatest. We talked about this yesterday, but the ecosystem is still kind of like catching up. So the library itself is in version 3, but all of the associated libraries like the router and Vuex and linting extensions and loaders and Webpack plugins and rollup plugins, all of those are still in beta. So while the core library is in is released, version 3, the associated libraries are still in beta, so there's some kinks to be worked out with all of those. But for the most part, you can use the core library. You can use these other things too. You just might run into some unknown bugs. And what we're going to talk about today is the composition API. If I go to the migration guide, does this talk about? Yeah, this should have a link to the composition API, I think. This thing. Now, like I said, this is one of my new favorite things in Vue. And the idea here is that all of the things you're used to in creating a component in Vue.js. So if you created Vue.js components before, you know that you provide an object with options for a component. So a component has data, a component has computed properties, a component has methods, a component has lifecycle hooks. All of those things are defined as options on the object. The composition API basically breaks that apart and makes it so that each of those things that you might have defined as an option can now be defined individually as its own little function. So you can have one little computed function and one little state thing and one little method, and those are reusable in all of your components. It's very similar to React hooks, but objectively better with none of the downsides, and I'll show you that. And it's cool. So we're gonna do that. I think I just gotta jump right into it. One thing I'm interested in doing, which I didn't do yesterday, was showing that you can use Vue without using the CLI. Like, you don't need Webpack or anything else like that. So let's check out Unpackage. I think if I go to like /Vue, can I get version 3? Yeah, I can. Awesome. So I need to find like a browser. Whoa, what did I just do? I need to find a browser built version in Princess Apollo. Thank you very much for those 10 bits. Server encountered an error. How do I Better except for the dot value. Well, I'll show you that you don't really have to do dot value if you use reactive instead of ref. What do I want to do? I want to see the directory listing so that way I can choose the browser build. Though, I mean, I guess technically I don't really, we don't have to use like module imports or anything like that. Vue.global.js. This? Well, let's try it. Unpackage/browse. Invalid URL. Browse/vue3. Yeah, okay. Let's try this. Cool. So what I wanted to find was the browser. Yeah, here we go. So ESM browser. This is what I wanted, because what I'm going to show you really quick is just how to add Vue Js to a web page, and then demonstrate some Vue stuffs. Here we go. Copy that. All right, so let's create a quick little thing. I think, do I have a directory for this? Vue3 Appstravaganza. Yeah, why not? Let's make a directory for basic example, and we're gonna go in there, and we're gonna write some code. So we're just gonna start off with a basic HTML file. So we need index.html. This is just a basic HTML file. There it is. But there will be no build tools, no build process. This is just going to be running directly in the browser. So Vue3 example. I'm going to add a script tag, and let's set the source to be like app.js. And then in here, I'm going to create an app.js. I'm also going to set the type to be module. And that will allow me to import Vue inside of app.js. So in here, I can say import Vue from this. And I'm going to disable my linter because it has no idea what I'm doing right now. Okay. Will this work? I have no idea, but I actually have not done this yet. Pulling Vue3 from a CDN and then attempting to use it directly. One thing that we need to do is we need to create an app, and one of the breaking changes in Vue3, and hey, Red Boxster with that Twitch Prime sub, thank you very much. But one of the breaking changes is to create a Vue instance, you no longer say new Vue. I believe you do like Vue.createApp. Yeah. So you say Vue.createApp like this. And hey, Freeland, thank you for those 10 bits. Do I recommend Python? I don't write much Python, but Python is nice. I'll say yeah. If you like, if it interests you, do it. Actually, we'll do this. I believe we can do like Vue.createApp, and we should be able to specify an element like app. Let's see if it works. So in here, I'm going to create an element with ID app. Let's try to show a message here. I actually don't know if this will work. Well, we might need to register a component. I don't know. We're flying by the seat of our pants. We have our message that says, hello, Vue3. Will this work? This might need to be a method. I think that might have been another breaking change, but let's try it. So we have that. Then I'm just going to start it up. So I'm going to use a live server. I think I have that. No, I don't have that. We'll install it. So live server is just an auto-refreshing static file server. This is not a build tool. It literally just serves these files statically and then automatically refreshes if anything changes. So we'll do live server. There we go. It's listening on port 51331, and look at that, it's broken. So let's see if there's an error. Import not found default. Import star as Vue from. I am bad at typing today. Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Ugh. Okay. Do we get a Vue object? Yeah. Okay. So we do get a Vue thing. And it does have. Cool. Okay. So I think we did good there. Never mind. Yeah. So we have Vue. We can create the app. We have the ID app. I might need to go look at the docs because things might have changed drastically for creating a new app. Let's see. Introduction. Getting started. Yeah, data needs to be a function. I don't know why I don't see an error though. Oh, I have to do .mount. That's the other thing. You don't specify the element. You say .mount. Okay, things have changed. Things have changed. I've been using Vue Js for like over 3 years, and I haven't learned the new API yet, but we'll learn it. Things have changed slightly. So instead of providing element, you need to say app right here, and then data needs to be a method that returns an object, like this, like that. All right, this is the winner. Hello, Vue 3. Nice. Oh, why didn't I use the Vue CLI? I just want to show some basic stuff. I just want to get it. I just want to show the basic stuff, and then we're going to use the CLI and build some other thing. Yeah, first try. What if I say mount document.body? I believe Vue cannot live on the body element. At least it wasn't able to. It didn't used to be able to. Let's see. Document.body. Seems to work. And we can actually just remove this. We can have like an H1. That's amazing. Third try. What's up, Lucky Number 7? How's it going? Welcome to the show. Everyone should check out Lucky Number 7. He's a member of our Live Coders team. And a good dude. Yeah, it's great. Technology. Look what we can do. Let's add some basic styles. Just so it looks decent. Easy CSS. This is like a two selector style sheet that I made, and it does that. That's great. I'm gonna turn off preserve logs because that gets a little bit confusing. The logs are sticking around. Okay, wizard. Now I want to show the composition API. How am I gonna do that? I guess we could define a component. I'm freaking out. Actually, can I do this? If I do the setup function, can I have setup function on the Vue instance and then do something like create a ref? So like say like message equals view.ref with this message here. Will this work? This has to work, right? And then you return an object from your setup function, and then that becomes available inside of your template. Does this work? It works! Beautiful. So this is another new thing that was introduced in Vue, is this idea of this setup function. So basically, you can define reactive variable. So this is kind of like React use state. We're defining a state variable here. And it can change over time. I guess we'll just do like a quick little thing. So we'll have the message there, but let's also have a button that has the current count on it, and every time we click the button, the count goes up. By default, there is no count, but let's set up a count. So I can say count is a ref that starts off at 0, and then initially I still get nothing, but I need to add count to the returned object here, and then it shows up, right? So anything you return on this object becomes available inside of the template. And then now let's make it work. So when I click this button, I want to increase the count. So I need a function. Now in the old Vue, you would create your methods option and put your methods on it. But here I can just create a little function. Increment. That's the one. And this is just a little function that'll just increase the value. Now, somebody mentioned this earlier. If I want to change these things, I have to access .value, and that's because they're an object wrapper, right? Like in JavaScript, spelling is hard, but in JavaScript, in most programming languages, things like numbers and strings are primitive values and they're immutable. You cannot change them. So if this were just a number, we couldn't watch it for changes, which is why it has this object wrapper and why we have to change the .value, so that way Vue knows that things have changed. But I could just say .value plus equals 1, and we're good to go. So now I have this little increment function. I'll expose this as well, and then I'll just say whenever this button is clicked, call increment, like that. Yeah, and so object wrapper, yeah, hello world. Somebody mentioned so you can just pass these things around. Yeah, here's the beautiful thing. These so, and here's one of the things that is like tricky and that you have to think about but in React, you have these things like use state. Those can only be used inside of a hook or a functional component. Watch this. I'm going to define these at the top level, and my code is still going to work. Boom, right? And that's because Vue is awesome. So what this means for those of you that are familiar with the rules of scope, I could define these in a separate file, right? I could put these somewhere completely else. Bam, bam. Like this is almost like global state, right? Like I could define this in a file called store, and then I could import that into any of my components, and I have access to the latest state. Global shared state. Exactly. You're blowing my brains. What happens with name conflicts? You're restricted to the rules of JavaScript. So I mean, these have to be unused variable names. Yeah. I missed something. I started to learn Vue 2 and 3, and now everything's changed. No, so I'll mention this. This is fun and this is cool, but you actually don't have to do it this way. I'm excited about this, and I'm going to be writing code this way, but you can still write code in the old Vue 2 way. Yeah. You don't need to add ref. No. So ref comes from Vue itself. So typically what you would see people do is you would extract it out. So I could destructure this and pull out create app and ref like this, and then I don't need to reference them from Vue. So I can just do ref, and I can just do create app. This should work as well. But basically I'm importing those things from Vue. Yeah, still works. Cool. Can it be a building block for RxDB? Yeah, I mean, you could create a state library like this. Yeah, and so username unknown is mentioning tree shaking. That's the other cool thing about this. So there are other functions that I can do or that I can use that basically give us the features of the options object that we're on Vue. So like computed allows us to create computed properties. So I could create a computed property that just says like count plus 10. And this is a computed that basically returns count.value plus 10. That's literally all it does. It just it's a computed property that takes the current value and adds 10 to it. But because these refs are reactive, computed knows what its dependencies are, and so anytime that count changes, the computed property count plus 10 changes as well. So now I can expose this, and we'll see the latest value always in the UI here. So let's just add like an H3, throw that count plus 10, and now this is always going to be the count plus 10. This is what do you call it? This is trivial, right? But in a real app where you have computed values and different things like that, this comes in super handy, right? This is kind of like a memoized value if you're used to React, where basically it knows what things change. It's a virtual property. Yeah, it's a computed. It is a computed. I guess the other thing I'll mention, and what I like about this compared to React hooks, is you may have noticed I don't have to define any dependencies here, right? I don't have to pass in an array that says this computed property is dependent on count. Behind the scenes, Vue already knows that. Yeah, and I can sell this app for millions. It's done. Yeah, so could I explain computed? So this is a trivial example because it just takes the current value and adds 10 to it. But you could have a computed property that is like a filtered list. Yeah, let's show a list of things. And I'll do this. So instead of using a ref, I'll show you also there's reactive. So reactive allows you to create an object that has like multiple properties on it, and you don't have to say dot value. This is kind of like creating data. So I'll show you this. And actually, I'm going to move this back in here, but let it be known, I can define these things anywhere, right? But we're going to put it in here just for the sake of things. But let's call this my to-dos. And I'm going to create a reactive property that is an object that has something like a to-dos array. It has like a new to-do. Actually, no, we're I'll do this. We showed this last time. We made a request to get Reddit posts. I don't know, somebody give me an API that's really easy to call. Like, I don't need an API key. I'm just going to get back an array of things. What API could I call right here? Because we could have just like items. Right, and you don't have to use .value in the template. I didn't clarify that. But yeah, you'll notice in here, I just referenced the thing. Vue knows to grab a .value. The cat API? The Star Wars API. Cats as I'm going to do this. Cats as a service. Oh, wait, no, this requires an API key. Oh, there are lifecycle methods, yes. So by default, anything that's defined in this setup method is technically on created. So when the component was created. But if I want to do something on mounted, I just bring in, I think is it on mounted or mounted? It's here. It's another little function that you can bring in. You pass it a callback, and that callback will be called when that lifecycle event happens. The dad joke API. Let's go to that. It is just mounted? Cool. Dad joke API. Icon has dad joke. Let's do it. Well, I want an array of jokes. I don't want a random joke. I want like 10 jokes so I can iterate over them. Icon has dad joke / API. Calling the API. Fetch a random dad joke, fetch a dad joke, fetch a dad joke, search for dad jokes. Okay, let's do a search. Copy. This should be it. This should be it. Okay, so I'm gonna call this dad jokes like this, and it has an array of jokes. It has whether or not it's loading. We'll say that initially this is false. It has whether or not there was an error, and initially there's nothing. So you can see that reactive is a little bit different because now I'm creating a reactive object, and then I can just modify that directly. I don't have to say .value. And so, yeah, if we did want to do this, if we want to make the API request when the component was mounted, I can tap into this this mounted lifecycle hook like this. Now, in this scenario, I would probably just want to do it on created. Like I don't actually want to wait for the component to mount, but let's wait for the component to mount. So in mounted, you pass it a function, and now this function will be called when the component was mounted. On mounted, okay. I'll fix it. All caps, on mounted. So on mounted is what we need. There's also like on unmounted, probably. All the other lifecycle hooks are there. You can use them. You need this for Seth. You're always searching for dad jokes. Cool. We'll deploy this app so you can get a random dad joke. Cool. So this should get called when the component is mounted. Here, component was mounted. See, so now we can do things in here. What about CLI project with Vue 3? Yeah, you can do that too. So I'm gonna have to go to stand up in like 15 minutes. But when I come back from stand up, we're gonna dive deeper. We're gonna use the CLI. I'm gonna create some reusable composition functions. So like instead of defining everything in a single app, we're gonna break it apart. I'll show you how it's actually useful. But for now, it's all in one place. And I just need to make an API request. So we want to fetch this icon has dad joke thing. We're gonna search for it. Make this an async function, and I believe that I need to specify the accept header to say I want JSON from this API. Like that. I am having a hard time typing this morning. So when the component is mounted, we're going to make an API request here to get the list of jokes. Once we get back the response, we're going to parse it as JSON. And then we're just going to log it. Let's see what we get. Here it is. So we get back an object that has a results array. And basically, we really only want the results array. We could do pagination and all that good stuff, but we want the results array. So here's what I'm going to do. We have this reactive thing called dad jokes. Right before we make the API request, I'm going to say dad jokes.loading is true, right? So because it is loading, and that way we can show like a loading message or something like that. At the end of it all, I'm going to say dadjokes.loading is false because we're not loading anymore. We could technically look at the check to see whether the response was okay or not. So we'll say like if response.okay, then we're going to do all this business that like parses the response and sets it on data. Otherwise, we're just going to say dadjokes.error equals could not has dad jokes. Frowny face. And then we'll set the jokes. Vue 3 should be illegal. What? We'll set the jokes to an empty array. Actually, I'll do this. Like anytime we call this function, let's automatically reset it to nothing, because potentially we could pass in like the page you want, all that good stuff. But yeah, do I need to await for response? No, I do need to await it. The reason is specifically the JSON property of response returns a promise. You have to await it, and that's just the nature of the fetch API. Clear the and if it was successful, we'll clear the error. So here we can say like error equals nothing. We'll say dadjokes.jokes equals JSON is it results? JSON is not defined. Of course it's not. I need a Vue t-shirt. Yeah, it's dot results. Awesome. So we have the results, which have an ID and a joke property. Cool. So this is my nice little function here, right? It sets true, it calls the API, it parses the response, it sets the results on my data, it sets an error if an error happened. I just need to remind myself we have ID and joke. Great. So now that I have this array of jokes, let's use it. So we could also let's just put all this inside a little div here. So let's just have an h3 that says loading jokes. And we only want to display this if we are actually loading the jokes. So we'll say vif dadjokes.loading. I need to expose dad jokes on my data, right? So I define this reactive property here. I need to return it here so that it becomes available. And we should see for like a split second. You see it for a split second loading jokes. Here's what we can do just to make it actually show loading for a while. Let's do like a fake wait. So we're gonna wait promise. No, we're gonna wait. Yeah, a new promise. That just does like a little set timeout thing. We're gonna wait 1 second. So we're gonna simulate that this is actually taking a while, and you'll see that it says loading jokes, and then we get back the response. Is mounted and on-mounted interchangeable? I think it's just on-mounted. A fake wait, yeah. Event handling. Does anybody see it? Component lifecycle. I don't know. You just made the coding garden Reddit page. What is that? Regardless. Yeah, a fake wait for a fancy animation. So we're showing loading jokes. Great. Then we want to actually we also want to do this. We'll show like an H3 that if there was an error, so we'll say vif dadjokes.error. Then we want to display that error here. Right? And let's just, for the sake of things, to show that it's working, we're just always going to set the error no matter what. So it should say loading, and then a second later it says could not has dad jokes. So if there was an error, it does that. I prefer vif. The main reason being is vif will actually remove that element from the DOM, whereas vshow just adds display none. So this will actually like take up space if we use vshow, which is that's why I'm using vif. You could use either. It really depends on how you want things to behave. But what I'll show you really quick is with vif, if we actually look in the DOM here, we only see, we can see that those are commented out, but we should only see the element if that vif thing is true. With vshow, it's still in the DOM, it just has display none. Yeah, and lucky number 7 has the question, what's my opinion on v if else and v else? It's, I don't know if I prefer them. The reason being is like, because you can do this. You can say, if there is an error, do that, v else, here are your dad jokes. Here is your dad jokes. And so if this is true, render that. If that's not true, render that. I kind of like to be a little bit more explicit, and this is purely just a style thing. Like, typically, I'll actually write it like this. I'll say, v if there is no error. So, you know, it's up to you. All right, now let's actually show the jokes. vcloak is so I'll show you really quick. So you really only need vcloak if you're doing this, if you're using it right in the browser. But you can see how the handlebars like flash for a second while Vue.js is loading. See those handlebars on the page? If you add a style for vcloak, it'll stop that from happening. Something like this. Is that right? That can't be right. No. How does it work? Does anybody know? And thank you for that, Acid Spark. Did I do that? v-cloak, display none. Ah. Oh, and not loading. Yeah, good call. So if there is no error and dad jokes dot loading is false. So if we're not loading and there is no error, then render that. Okay, this person is suggesting that we do this, which is actually pretty interesting because this will basically say for every element that it has handlebars, it's actually going to say loading because the page is loading. Oh, I didn't mean to close that. Well. I don't know. It's not working. Honestly, I'm not worried about it because I don't really ever build Vue apps this way. So right now I'm just using a CDN right here. This CDN, but in the real world, I would use the CLI and it handles all of that for me. Okay, what are we doing? We have our initial state. So jokes is an empty array. We're gonna do the thing, we're gonna set that, and now we just need to iterate over it. So I'll show you how we do iteration here. v4 joke in jokes. Yeah, and somebody was mentioning like we should check if jokes are null. I actually prefer to keep it as an empty array, and that way I don't have to have custom logic that like checks, is it null? If it's not null, then map it. If it is null, show something else. So I just keep it as an empty array, and then whenever I get back the results, I override that empty array, and that makes it so that I can have this v4, but I don't have to have any like conditionals or anything like that. So for every joke in the jokes, we'll show that joke like in an h2, and so we just want to say joke.joke. And we need to give this an ID, or a key, sorry, because we are, this is the virtual DOM, and we need to let the virtual DOM know how to identify this element for future updates, like this. And that should do it. So loading jokes, here is your dad jokes. Oh, it's not jokes, it's dad jokes.jokes. v4 vendetta. That's pretty good, Kernel Dev. So for every joke in jokes, loading jokes, here they are. Here is your dad jokes. I'm tired of following my dreams. I'm just going to ask them where they are going and meet up with them later. Oh, I need to add vcloak to the body. That makes sense. Yeah, that does it? Does it make sense? It could be because I'm using... Let's do this. Hi. Oh, Yeah, that does it. Okay, so you don't see the curly braces flashing. Nice. Okay, so loading jokes. Here is your dad jokes. Did you hear about the guy whose whole left side was cut off? He's all right now. Yeah. No, you're right, Acid Spark. I need to make this font size smaller. It was a bad idea to suggest dad joke. No, these are great. These are fantastic. I think I meant to do that. We'll make this an H4. That's terrible. Why didn't the skeleton cross the road? Because he had no guts. 26 says, my events don't work on the mobile website, but it does on the desktop. I have never had that problem. That's weird. I mean, you might have to use something like touch down instead of click, but usually you don't have to. Get randomly placed on the screen, everyone. Oh. I'm not opposed to it. Suggest this in the Discord so we don't forget about it, but that would be fun. What is this? What's up, Dragon? Never play with a cat. Could be a cheat. Something just happened. In Blanky, with the Twitch Prime resub, 2 months. Already 2 months. Yeah, thanks for being here. These are great. Okay, what did one nut say as he chased another nut? I'm a cashew. I'm a throw. So wait, what? What's up, Throw Python? All right, hopefully you're feeling okay. Was that out of context? Vue with TypeScript. Yeah, I want to show that later too. So after I come back from stand up, we're going to show custom composition API functions, reusable ones, like really show the benefits of the composition API, and then also we're going to show TypeScript because that's a big thing. The Vue 3 was rewritten from the ground up with TypeScript, and they have first-class support for TypeScript. You can use TypeScript with Vue 2. There were some caveats, some things that didn't work that well. Oh no, these jokes are making you grow. Dragon says, no, seriously, what are we doing? We're exploring Vue Js 3. Right now, we just threw together this app. It's interesting in that it's just using imports and basically running Vue directly in the browser. We don't have any sort of build process or anything like that. When I come back after the break in a few minutes, we're going to generate an app with the Vue CLI. It comes built in with Webpack and all the things you would need to build a production level app. We're learning how to be dads. Do you think that Vue code is very messy compared to Vue 2? We can clean it up. Right now, this is messy, absolutely. But something like this, I would extract this to its own composition API function, right? Because that has this state. It could handle this. It could handle doing all of this, and we could also reuse it in multiple components. Like we need dad jokes all over our application, right? So we could put this in a composable function and reuse it in any component that we wanted to, and it would clean this code up quite a bit. But yes, if you have no idea what you're doing and you're just putting everything in the setup, it is going to get messy, but don't do that. Don't do that. Could we add some animation and fade the dad jokes as they load in? I'd have to look up how to do it. Let's do that. I have 7 minutes before I have to go. We'll figure out how to do that. But they do have that built in because there's a transition element. List transitions. Here we go. Rotate. So we need a transition group with a name. Great. We're going to wrap these elements in the transition group. The name, let's call it jokes. And the tag is a div. So we're going to have a parent div that wraps all of these. And then we need a class that is name-item. So on this element, the class is jokes item, like that. Great. And then we need some custom styles. Are we doing HTML? So this is the Vue Js template. Technically, it's like HTML, but it also has some Vue Js stuff sprinkled in. So like these handlebars here and these directives like v4, vif, those only exist in Vue. Yeah, okay, so we need these styles, then we'll modify them. Everywhere we have list, this needs to be jokes. So jokes item, display inline block. I actually don't want that. We don't need any styles there. Jokes interactive. Transition. Okay, so it's going to take 1 second. And translate Y 30 pixels. So it's going to come down. It's going to slide down 30 pixels. And it's going to fade in because the opacity is 0. So this should do it. Watch. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Ta-da! And actually, if I add this on jokes item, hot. Yeah, how do we stagger them? They might have that in the list transition example here. List move transitions. Oh, I think this is what we not has another trick up its sleeve. It can not only animate entering and leaving, but it also changes in position. Let's see the example. Oh, the result is here. Rerun. Where is it? I can write my code with no handlebars. I can write my code with no handlebars. That's great. List complete enter from leave 2. Enter from leave 2. Active. Only 7 LEDs are showing on cam. Well, you're not wrong. Yeah, how do we... okay, here it is. Staggering list transitions. Stagger fade. Swagger. CSS false before enter. Oh, we actually need... oh, this is using GreenSock animation plugin thingy? GreenSock animation framework? I don't want to do that. So this is using, I believe, GSAP is GreenSock animation. It's using the to function here. I don't know. It's good enough. Look, like, tell me this is not awesome. That's awesome. I guess technically... I don't know. It is awesome. It's fine. It's great. All right, I have to take a break. But this was fun. Look at this cool little app we built with all these dad jokes. To be frank, I'd have to change my name. Cool. Coding Garden subreddit. Yeah, I mean, if you all want to... actually, I mean, I don't know. So, if it was an officially sanctioned subreddit, then I probably would want my mods to be the moderators of the subreddit. We can say it's community driven. These jokes, to be frank, I'd have to change my name. I'm going to deploy this really quick. So check it. It's two files. It's an HTML file and a JavaScript file. I don't need to build this thing. I just literally need to put it on a static file server. So I'm going to put it on a static file server with Surge. Surge is pretty cool. Yeah, we're going to deploy this. We're going to call this, seems complex. We're going to call this Vue 3 composition example. Actually, let's call this dad jokes. Like that. You don't have permission. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because somebody else already took that name. Vue 3 dad jokes. Here we go. We're on the internet. Ta-da! Why was it called the Dark Ages? Because of all the nights. Yeah, I should have put a Z, huh? I don't know. Okay, so you can view the site there. Here's the thing though. Double bam. If you open this web page in your web browser, and then if you're on Windows, press Control U, or if you're on Mac, press Command Alt U, that will open up the source code. And because there was no build process, you can see the source code directly. Like you can see our styles, you can see our template here. If you click on app.js, you can see the source code for the app itself. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, this app is super basic, and these files aren't that big, but I mean, you can inspect the source. You can see how it works. There's no like built files or anything like that. Yeah, and check out Surge, surge.sh. They're totally free to deploy static websites. You can set up custom domains and stuff like that too. Is it sane to use GitHub Pages for my CDN? GitHub Pages is fine. You can set up a custom domain with GitHub Pages, and now they support SSL certificates. They didn't used to support that. All right, I'm gonna take a break. When I come back, we're going to make sense of all of this, and we're gonna make it so that we're gonna build a new app to do this. But I'm gonna show you that you don't have to put everything in one function, and you shouldn't put everything in one function. You should break it apart, and that really is where the composition API starts to shine. I won't be gone longer than 15 minutes, hopefully. Hopefully I'll be back sooner than that. But I'm gonna take a break now. Be nice to everyone. I'm gonna put on some music, say hi, talk about your day. What should be the question of the day? Question of the day is, what was the last app you built with Vue Js? Let us know in the chat. I'll be back in about 15 minutes. Stay awesome. Clarkio, what's up? Today is a good day. Let me find some music really quick. Not available. Oh, not that. This. All right. See you in about 10-15 minutes. He's back. Well, hello. I thought I'd try to wear these. These are gunners. They're just they remove blue light, but I see that there's a lot of reflections. I missed you too, Chad. I'm glad to be back. You can see reflections. I guess what is that? Wait. That's my screen reflection. I guess if I move the screen a little bit. Chad with that 5-month reason. Thank you very much. It's distracting. I'm gonna take these off. All right, let's get back into it. Thank you, Hitech, for that Twitch Prime sub. Did other things happen while I was away? Coil Twitchbot, thank you for those 100 bits. And Chad with that 5-month resub. Long time, first time. Today we learn how reflections work. All right, so before the break, we built a super basic app. Yeah, so before the break, we built this super basic app with Vue 3. We didn't use the CLI. Hey, Cabro HD with that 3-month resub, and also Re235 with that resub. Cabro, thank you. Very much appreciated. Yeah, so before the break, we built a super basic app with Vue 3. We showed how you can use refs, and this is a computed property. We showed reactive, which has multiple state values. We also showed transitions. So when this page loads, watch this. Oh, dad jokes load in. Is there a hype train? Well, everyone, thank you. Thank you for the hypes. My first time using an elevator was an uplifting experience. The second time let me down. Awesome. So that's the basics, and now we're gonna generate a Vue app, and we're gonna build some custom composition API functions. That's the plan. So let's get right into it. Though, you know what? I'm gonna premiere another YouTube video. Give me a second. Here. Yeah, no worries, Clarkio. Surge is nice and free. Similar to Versal, because you can deploy static sites with Versal. What? My Code Wars video has received a copyright claim? Let's experience this together, everyone, because apparently this video has a copyrighted song in it. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Let's see.
Those two things. Coding Garden. Hello. CJ, what?
Oh. I left the sound on whenever we rated Bald Bearded Builder. And it got me a copyright violation. Dang it, BBB, what are you doing? Yeah. All right. I just won't publish that video. Okay. Give me a second. Cut it. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it and then republish it. Bald Bearded Builder, copyright. All right, what video am I gonna publish? This one, Clash of Code. Yeah, I'm gonna chop off the end and re-upload. That's the plan, but not today. Not right now. We got things to do, places to go, people to see. How do you give bits? You gotta buy them, and then you can click the button. I'll show you. Well, I can't send bits to myself, but I'll show you. All right, wait. hi, what's this channel about? We write code here. Thank you, Tcozer, for those 100 bits. What makes a static site what makes a site static and not dynamic? The fact that there is no server-side language that is being executed in generating the pages when you visit that website. So earlier I published a static site that was literally an HTML file and a JavaScript file. So the static file server doesn't do any custom script running when it renders those files. You literally say, hey, static file server, can I have that HTML file? Hey, static file server, can I have that JavaScript file? And it just sends you back the files. That's a static file server. A dynamic server is something that it has a backend language. Now, the static file server could have been written. Oh, yeah, nothing to do with gardening. We're code gardening. The static file server could have been written in a dynamic language, but the nature of the server is to just serve it static files. Now, if you have a server that's running PHP or Node.js or Python, you can create endpoints that have custom logic that run before some response is given back. That's a dynamic server. And the nice thing about static servers is there are a lot of places where you can just upload files and they can be served. You don't have to worry about having a backend with a custom runtime and all that stuff. And static files are easily served over CDNs, which is a content delivery network, meaning they can scale really easily. Because if you have a dynamic server and you want to scale it, you have to code it in the right way. You have to make sure that your server can handle having multiple instances and it's not using global variables or anything like that. Whereas with a static file server, you can literally take those static files, distribute them across the internet, and then like a load balancer thingy can choose which CDN to serve those files from. I don't know. Static stuff is cool. All right, back to it. Or Ruby, yes. Still, let's not forget Ruby. Ruby on Rails, really any general purpose programming language that can create HTTP servers. Why is it called Coding Garden? Because we grow your coding skills one day at a time. And we're a community, a coding garden community. Yeah, if you want to give bits, you click this icon. I can't share in my own channel, but if you click that icon, it'll have an option for you to buy the bits, and then you can send the bits. I keep trying to forget Ruby. No, don't use. You can use Ruby if you want. Ruby's fine. Okay, let's get going. So what we did before was like a super basic static app. Now we're gonna generate an app with the CLI that is still technically a static app, but it's going to have a build process. It's going to have all the extra things that you would need for like a large front-end application. Cool. What do I want to call this? Let's do things with APIs, because I'm going to show you how to make a reusable composition API function that allows you to talk to any web API. So let's do that. So if you're new to the whole Vue world, you can do npm install -g at vue/CLI. This will install the CLI, which is amazing, and I'll show you how it works. So after you've installed it globally, you can do vue create. Let's call this web APIs. We're going to call a bunch of different APIs. It's going to be great. We can choose our options right now. With the CLI, the Vue 3 thing is in preview. You can choose this. You'll notice that it doesn't give me options for like the router and state and stuff like that. Creative Coder, thank you very much for that sub. Will I use TypeScript in this app? You know, yeah, let's do it. Okay, and if that's the case, I'm actually not going to use the Vue CLI because it doesn't have that option built in just yet. So we're gonna use Vite. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, we're gonna use TypeScript. I haven't shown TypeScript with Vue yet, and we need to do that. So yeah. So npm init of Vite app. We're gonna call this web APIs. Vite is French for fast. Look at how fast that was, right? So let's go into that directory, install our dependencies, and then we'll start it up. Vite. So you could manually do it with the CLI, but I don't want to have to go through the manual setup. I mentioned this earlier, but like Vue 3 itself is ready to go. It's not beta, it's not RC, it's released. But all of the associated things are still in beta. Including like the Vue CLI with V3 support. So yeah, what's the advantage of TypeScript? Working on teams, large code bases, that kind of thing. Yeah, so for this, I just used module imports. So you can actually use imports and exports inside of the web browser. So instead of adding a script tag, I imported the Vue file, the Vue library from a CDN. Do I have to specify a command line option to do TypeScript with Vite? TypeScript. Out of the box. Cool. JBets, thank you for that subscription. TypeScript is JavaScript's big brother. I can see that. All right. Let's see what we got. So we used Vite to generate this app. It's going to look similar to a CLI generated app, but it uses this thing called Vite to run it instead of the Vue CLI service. Wheat? No, Vite. I guess if you have trouble pronouncing your V's, then it would be wheat, right? Oh wait, this is still using Vue RC1? No way. No way. I don't want to do that. I want to use the Vue 3 without the RC. Do they have version 3? No, it's 1 RC4. Oh man. See, like I said, it's latest and greatest. You know what? I think it doesn't require any config. Forget about it. We're going to use the Vue CLI. We're going to have to set it up manually. I don't think it's going to require that much setup though. All right, let's remove this. We're going to try again. Yeah, we're going to try again. Thank you, This Code Rocks. I should just be able to set lang ts, put things in TypeScript files. I might have to add a ts config. TypeScript support. Recommended configuration. I'll take this. Yeah, should be it. Okay, so let's pretend like I did none of that. And we're gonna do, yeah, thanks for that focus mode. Slake. Well, that would create like a default TS config. I wanted to find one that would actually like work with Vue. But yeah, thanks for the focus mode. We're gonna do that. Princess Apollo, thank you for the stretch. Much appreciated. Oscar with the hydrate. Cheers. And you need a program. The posture check. I'm slouching. And Dragon, thank you for that stretch as well. Well, yeah, so the Vue CLI version, well, for version 2, has the option for TypeScript. But if we're doing Vue 3 preview, it doesn't give us any options, which is why I'll show you. So if I choose this, I get no options. It just instantly creates the thing. But if you chose Vue 2, you can get the option to choose TypeScript. It's fine. We'll figure it out. We'll get TypeScript going. Hacker man. Did you miss something? Nope. You're right on time. We're generating a Vue 3 app. We're going to get TypeScript up and going, and then we're going to create some composition API functions. It's happening. It's happening. What are my views on Vite? It's awesome. It's super cool. I like the fact that it uses the latest browser features to give you like a... No, I need to CD into it. I'm trying to talk and type at the same time. It uses the latest browser features to give you like a really fast build time. It doesn't do things it doesn't need to do. It's pretty sweet. Well, Vite didn't automatically install dependencies. This automatically installs dependencies, which is why it took a bit longer. And thank you, iSatisfied, for that 2-month resub who says, hello, 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 hello. Let's open it up. We've got our Vue app. What I need to do is add a tsconfig.js. .json, probably. Yeah, it's .json. tsconfig.json. Great. And then we'll just change the things. So let's make this main.ts. Great. And then why is this complaining? Cannot find module app.vue or its corresponding type declarations. Well, you know what? Right here in the script, I can say lang equals typescript. Maybe? I don't know. Let's see if this works. Serve. That'll be fine. The relative module was not found. Main.js. Oh, it won't let me do it with Vue 3. Oh, menus. Oh, you're right. I don't know why I was thinking that. You're right. Okay, start over. Start over. Noxy boy, that you're those 1,000 bits. Yeah. Let's try to manually choose options. Does it let me choose? All right, this is going to be the third or fourth time we remove this directory. Take three, everyone. First try. Let's try this. So if we choose manually select features, can we choose Vue 3? So I can do Babel, TypeScript. I want the router, Vuex, CSS preprocessors. Yeah, great. Thank you. Who mentioned that? Eddie Debs, thank you for that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. I was just like, we got to choose the preset. Vue 3. Use class style component syntax. No way. So the new thing about TypeScript support is everything is very functional. So like even in the React world, we've figured out that TypeScript with class style components is tricky for like creating typings and stuff like that. But in Vue, there's like vue.createComponent. There's basically like a function we can call, which makes it really easy to get the typing. So we're not going to use class style. Use Babel alongside TypeScript, required for modern mode, auto-detected polyfills, and transpiling JSX. Why not? Use history mode. No. So here's the other thing. We were talking about static file servers earlier. If I use history mode, then I would need to configure my server to do automatic redirects. But if I don't use history mode, any static file server can support this website. So I'm going to say no. We're going to use Dart Sass. We're going to use the Airbnb config. Let's go. Just rename index to 404.html. Save this preset. Yeah, let's save it. Let's call this Vue 3 to the max. All right, here we go. Yeah, and so we'll have I don't think we'll even need interface. I guess we could create interfaces for props, but we actually don't need to. We can just define them with their types. Yeah. Can I show history mode? Yeah, it's not that much different. I'll show you. The main difference is you don't see the pound or the hashtag in the URL. But again, you need to configure your server for redirects if you want to do that. History mode. And actually, I did a stream a while back on like 7 different ways to deploy a React app. Coding Garden. 101 ways to deploy a React website. Now, like the first hour of this stream is just building the React app, but I show you that because we're using React Router and because we're using history mode, for each one of these places that we deploy, there's special configuration we have to do to get those redirects working. Those exact same configurations would work the same way for a Vue app. It's not specific to React, but yeah, you can watch that. Is 101.7 in binary? No, it's 5. So maybe it's 5 ways to deploy. Okay. We chose TypeScript. That's awesome. So now if I go in here, it should just work and it should be configured. Look at all this. So if we look at our Vue config, it tells it not to lint on save. There's a TS config with quite a bit of stuffs. That's great. If we look at our package.json, I don't know if much changed in there, but we do have main.ts. Cool. Does the thing. We don't see any linter errors for importing. And we have a basic Vue app. Okay, this is the way to go. Let's serve it up. So this is a Vue scaffold. Yeah, so the Vue CLI supports version 2 and now version 3. I don't choose lint on save because that shows errors in the web browser if there's a linter error. It really slows down development time. In the real world, you probably would want that, but when I'm live on stream, I don't want to spend 5 minutes fixing linting stuff when the app would work anyways. But now we have ourselves a Vue 3 plus TypeScript app. Look at that. Very good. Very good. There's a lot of new stuff in Vue 3. I would say if you rewind the stream like an hour, you'll get a basic intro to the composition API. But what we're going to do right now is do some things. So let's actually, well, I guess we'll have multiple pages. We'll have the home. Let's have the home page. I'm going to get rid of these default styles too. Let's get rid of the default styles. We have our home view. We'll get rid of the about page. We don't need that. If we look at the router, oh, TypeScript. Great. We have our home route. I think that's all we need for now. This is super interesting to see. There's now these functions in Vue 3, like create router, create web hash history. Cool, TypeScript. So we have our home route. That's great. If we look at our home, we're going to remove everything except for this. Welcome home. We'll remove that hello world component. And this is what I was talking about, this define component function. This is the thing provided for us that gives us TypeScript typings. The router isn't built into Vue. It is technically a separate library. You can see that we're bringing it in from Vue router, but it is maintained by the same core team, and it always has been. It's a separate install, Vue router, but it's made to work in conjunction and exactly with Vue. Pretty much every Vue app you come across in the real world is using Vue router. There's no community fractioning around what router to use. Vue router is the one that we use. React developers can definitely pick up Vue quickly. You might be surprised at all of the magic, but things work easily and great. This is like Redux. This is our Vuex store. We have this that says welcome home. That's great. We have this, which has the router view, which should display home. I think that's it. Yeah, should be it. Let's see what we get. Welcome home. It's super ugly. I guess let me add a CSS framework. Let's do a quick vote. Do we want to do Bootstrap? Actually, we could use Bootstrap 5. I don't want to use Vuetify just yet, because for those of you that are new to Vue, it's going to introduce a lot of extra stuff, because I don't want to choose a component library. I want to choose just CSS, so that way we don't have to worry about importing components and stuff like that. Sure, we might use Tailwind. I don't like Tailwind. I really don't, but we can try it. Yeah, or we could just do easy CSS, which is a thing that I made. I'll show you the styles. These are the styles in easy CSS. Oh yeah, Bulma is another option. Is that it? We could choose Materialize too. Thematic? NES CSS? This is fine. 1 minute. You have 1 minute to vote. Ant design? Block CSS? No, we want basic stuff. Here's the thing. If we choose easy CSS, we're done. Like, we don't even have to look at the docs. It just applies some basic styles. Bootstrap 5. Are you kidding me? I don't know if it's officially released yet. So 4.5 is the latest. I believe we can see the preview. Can't we? Bootstrap 5. How do we get to the website? Bootstrap 5 alpha. New look and feel. Okay. jQuery is removed in Bootstrap 5, which is pretty awesome. And you can customize things with CSS properties, which is also awesome because you don't have to customize things ahead of a build time. If it wins, we'll figure out how to choose it. It won. Bootstrap 1. We're using all the new things. We're using Bootstrap 5. Well, here's that. How's that for a clickbait title? Bootstrap 5 with Vue 3. And you don't have to use jQuery anymore. All that good stuff. Where are the docs? How do I get there? Here it is. v5.getbootstrap.com. Awesome. So let's click on getting started. I'm just gonna link the CDN. I mean, technically we could install it with npm. Let's install it with npm. We want v5 alpha 1. I believe if we look at Bootstrap on npm, it should have v5 alpha versions. Yeah, look at that. Awesome. Let's install it. So here we are. WASM. So we're in this directory, and we're gonna do npm install bootstrap at version 5 alpha 1. Great. It is now installed. Now we should add the CSS. So to add the CSS, we just import it. I'm going to import it at the top here. So import bootstrap /dist /css /bootstrap.css. Maybe. It works. Awesome. So we have that. Yeah, and Vue 3 does tree shaking. Yeah, we're gonna use TypeScript. We're using Vue 3, TypeScript, Bootstrap 5, WASM, clickbait. All right, let's get going. Let's give ourselves a little header bar, cutting edge, components, navbar. Yeah, this is what I want. Tree shaking is shaking the tree of all the leaves that are loose, that aren't exactly attached and you don't need. You just shake the tree and those leaves fall off. It's the same thing with code. It basically removes any code that is not needed or used by your app. And so the thing to think about is like Vue Js is a framework. It has a lot of code in it, right? But you may be only doing certain things in your app. So the things that you're not using in Vue, you want to be able to shake those away, and that's what tree shaking gives you. And because of this new composition API, because everything is in nice little functions, you just import the functions you need, and everything just gets tree shaken away, which results in a potentially smaller bundle. All right, this is what I want. I want a little nav. Let's make ourselves a little component. So I'm going to add this up here. We'll get rid of this hello world component. We're going to call this navbar.view. Tree shooketh. Do I have a template that uses Vue with TypeScript? Doesn't matter. To use TypeScript, all we got to do is say lang equals ts. And actually, we don't even need a script in this case. In this case, we literally just need a template that has the navbar inside of it. And I like the dark navbar, so navbar dark. And then we'll just say web APIs. All right, so we have this component, the navbar component. We now want to show this navbar component here. So we need to import it. So this app component now needs a script tag. Tree shaking, not stirred. We'll say lang equals ts. I don't know why my overlay just flashed like that. Okay, but language equals TypeScript. We need to import, I think it's create component from Vue. Create comment mode? What was it? Define component, that's what it is. This is all new to me. I gotta figure out what the names are. So we want to define a component. Easy CSS is just a simple little thing I made a long time ago. You can link this URL and it just gives you like a really big font size, 80% body, and a sans serif font. That's all it is. Easy-css.now.sh. Okay, so we're gonna say export default define component. We'll pass in our options, and I should be able to say components. Yes, so we have this wonderful TypeScript completion. We want to specify our components. So I want to import that navbar component from the components directory. I believe I can do an alias like this, at components. So I don't get autocomplete. @/components. Oh yeah, that works. Okay. Quick stretch. This now looks like React. I'll show you. It looks like it, but it's better. But one thing that's nice about the Vue CLI is it sets up this alias for you, so you can just do @ and then specify things, so you don't have to do a relative path. Vtor has poor autocomplete. Oh, I need to enable autocomplete in Vtor. We'll get there. We'll show you all the cool stuff. So let's import navbar, and then I just specify it right here, and then I can use it like this. Now, missing file extension. I want to disable this. Because I don't like specifying .vue. So I'm going to disable import extensions in my ESLint config. Here, rules. This. No, thank you. Because it's fine. I just want to be able to import the component without having to specify that. Cannot find module or corresponding type. Oh man. Does that mean I have to do .vue? Okay, never mind. I have to do .vue so TypeScript knows what to do with it. Forget about that. We're going to keep that on. Awesome. So import the component. Now we actually want to use it. Navbar component has been registered but not used. Look at the nice error messages you get. I guess because of TypeScript. Yeah, you have to enable autocomplete. I'll show you in a second. So I want to use this component, and instead of having this, I actually just want to show my navbar, so I can do that. Fun little side note is to behave more similarly to web components. If you have a component registered with camel case, you actually can use it with dash case. This will still work, and that's mainly because that's how web components work. So you could use either. This is kind of like the React way of doing it. You do it with the exact name. Kebab case. Dash case? Yeah, kebab case. But that should do it. We should have a navbar now. And we don't. Are there any errors? Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong? Nom nom nom. Is that actually an ESLint message? I have no idea. Where's my navbar? Navbar. Do I need? I don't think I need the define component, do I? Oh! Navbar dark, background dark. BG dark? Yeah, that's what, it was just CSS. Yeah, so the hot reload is working. It is. Yeah. It was just the CSS. It was we couldn't see it because the background was white and the text was white. Regardless, we have a navbar. Beautiful. But we also should be able to use the kebab case one. So if I save that, it should disappear. Great. And if I do that, it's there. Maybe. What's happening? Navbar. Oh! That's a caching issue. That is a caching issue. It didn't save it. Oh well. Regardless, let's just do it this way. It's a little less confusing. Awesome. We have a navbar. In that navbar, I want to link to the homepage. Cashew. Something like this. So we can have a div, navbar collapse. We're not going to collapse it though. So that goes below navbar brand right here. So like this. Yeah, we're not going to collapse it. We're going to keep it open all the time. And we'll have a nav item that just links home. So home. Shift F5 is a myth. Can you also use router view as router view? Probably. Yeah. Probably. Maybe. Maybe not. I guess you can. Things are weird. So Especially for beginners, you don't want to give them too many options because it's gonna confuse them. I don't know. This is the way you see it in most places, so I'm gonna leave it that way. All right. We have an item that links home. For that, wait, where did it go? Oh, does it? Hey. There it is. Great. Weird. Okay, so instead of an anchor tag, I want to use a router link, which works in exactly the same way. But instead of linking an href, I can just say to, and then I can specify like the name of the route I want to go to. So the name of the route I want to go to is home, and this will automatically create the right thing. Let's see if we can format this with vter. Yeah, there we go. Nice, nice. So I have a router link, links home. Beautiful, and I can click that. We're already home, so that's fine. Okay, I want to go home. I'm stuck in an office. Well, that's unfortunate. You should be at home right now. Okay. What's the difference between using colon or at in a template? So the colon is a shorthand for vbind, v-bind. You could do either. I prefer to leave it off because it's a little less verbose, but this does the same thing. And if you look down there, you can see that it's linking to /, right? The @ sign is an alias for v-on. So we don't have any DOM listeners right now, but if we wanted to add them, if I say v-on click, and I could specify do thing, that will call that function when this element is clicked on, but the shorthand for that is the @ sign. So @ and colon are just shorthands for v-on and v-bind. That's all. Okay. Let's actually, we're here to do the composition API. We have our home page. We want another component that is actually on the home page. We'll list some stuff. Let's do this. Let's just go ahead. Let's just jump right in, and make some composition API functions, and I'll introduce you to the things as we go. Now, I'm going to create a folder called hooks. Is very similar to like React hooks, where I'm going to define some reusable things, and I'm going to define a composition API function called use fetch. Now, this function is going to allow me to pass in a URL, and it'll automatically call that API. It's going to keep track of the loading state. It's going to keep track of the API response, and it's going to keep track of if there are any errors in making that request. So we need a function called use fetch. It's going to take in the URL that you want to fetch, and then we need some internal state. So I'm going to import this thing called reactive from Vue. And what this allows us to do is to create a state object that is reactive. So instead of having to define your data on a component, you can just define it in raw JavaScript and then use it in different places. So this is not React. No, I'm just calling it hooks because that's like the convention. You could call these functions composition functions. It's a thing. So let's actually just have our state equal to a reactive thing that has some values on it. And so by default, this is going to have a loading. And loading is initially false, right? We also could have an error. In the event that an error happens, we can show that error message. And then we can have our data, which initially will be null. And the main reason it's null is because we don't actually know the structure of the API. I mean, technically, we could use TypeScript. We're going to use TypeScript. We're going to make this a generic hook. So we're going to take in type T, and we're going to say that, and I believe reactive will take in a type as well. So let's create an interface called our fetch state. Oh yeah, we're getting there. And so loading is a boolean, an error is a string, and data is of type T, or it can be null as well. And fetch state is of type T. Okay, this is weird. If you've never seen generics before, then this this is new. Well, URL is just going to be an argument to use fetch. It's not going to be part of the fetch state. What is type T? I'll tell you. So basically, we're going to call some API, right? We're going to call ICANN has dad joke, or we're going to call the NASA API or something like that. And whenever we call that API, we're going to get back some sort of data. And that data has a particular shape. In this case, I'm calling it T because it's generic. I don't know what that shape will be. But later on, whenever we call this thing, I'm going to need to define an interface that defines what the response looks like for that specific API. And what that'll basically give me type completion. Yeah, T is anything you want. It's generic. It's anything you want. And it'll make more sense when I use this thing. But we'll get there in a second. Yeah, you can use everything I'm showing you right now. You don't have to use TypeScript. Actually, in the world in general, you don't have to use TypeScript. We could just forget about TypeScript, and the world would be just fine. But TypeScript is more of like a developer convenience thing. I saw a comment. I think I wanted to... Yeah, welcome to generics. If you've never seen generics before, what are you... Oh, you're doing something that's not strongly typed. Okay, so I need to get the example coded up, and then we can talk about what the things do. Because what I'm going to say is reactive of type T, like this. Does this accept that? Does not satisfy the constraint object. Implements object. Extends object. Oh, no. I need to do this here. Type T extends object, something like that. Cool. And then this also extends object. I think. Do not use object as a type, use record string any. Well, we'll get there. All right. Pass around a few any's. So that's fine. URL is declared, but its value is never read. That's fine. What is this saying? Is assignable to the constraint of type T, but T could be instantiated with a different subtype of any constraint. Oh. No, T. How does TypeScript work? Okay, regardless, for now, I'm just going to return the state from here. Don't have to put the fetch state after reactive. Yeah, there's code goes here. There's a lot we need to do here, but we just need to set this up. How did TypeScript? Argument of type loading error string data is not assignable to parameter of type T. Oh, of course not. Of course not. Fetch state of type T. There we go. And I'll talk about what all of this means, but basically, we're creating a reactive state that holds onto fetch state of type T. Type T defines our type for data. This is a lot. There's a lot going on here. Regardless, let's just make it work. So what I want to do is anytime the URL changes, I potentially want to update my state, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to watch the URL, and we'll have this callback function that gets called anytime the URL has changed. And watch gets imported from Vue. So I'm just going to log right here. The URL has changed, and then we'll just log that URL. For now, that's all I'm going to do. So really all I care about is has the URL changed? And if the URL has changed, I'm going to make a fetch request. But now let us use this use fetch function. Parameter has any type. Oh, of course. It's a string. Easy. I got that one. I can fix that. Yeah, it's a string. Let us use it. So now I want to use this fetch inside of my home component. So I'm just going to import that specific fetch file. So I'm going to import use fetch from hooks/use fetch. So this is my custom function that I just defined. And then over here in this home component, we have our setup function. So our setup function gets called when this component is created. It's basically when the component is created, we can define all of the things that we want to expose. And let's call the dad joke API. So let's say dad jokes is equal to use fetch with some URL. We'll figure out what that URL is. And then for now, I'm going to return an object that has dad jokes on it. So if we look at use fetch, what does use fetch return? Hey, Cryptic Dreams, thank you very much for that upgraded sub. I appreciate you. My dad is a joke. Hey, hate. No, this is static server stuff. So all of the code we're writing will be running inside of the web browser. It is just static JavaScript. There's extra steps because we have a build process to create those static files. But at the end of the day, it is just static files. Okay, so we're importing this in. Module has no default export. Oh, you're right. Default. All right, so we're exporting this use fetch. We want to use this. Why is this complaining? I mean, technically, is it like a little callback that returns that? I think that's it. Interfaces are TypeScript. This is not ES6. This is TypeScript. Yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Dad jokes is the return of this function, right? And this function returns state, which has loading, error, and data. Great. Now, this is going to log whenever the URL changes, and we should be good. Now let's go grab that dad jokes API thing. I can't has dad joke /API. How do we get a random dad joke? We just make this request with accept application JSON. Great. All right. Now, if I have done everything correct, we should see in the console, the URL has changed and we should see the latest value. That's it. We have no build errors. That's beautiful. We're here. Let's refresh. We don't see it. We might need to specify, that it gets called on creation. I don't know. Let's go to the docs. How does watch work? Watch. Computed properties and watchers. No, we need to see the composition API. What just happened? PrimeSock, thank you very much for that tier 1 sub. Watch doesn't get called on initial value. Okay. I mean, we can get around that by just having our thing in a function. I mean, let's do that. Okay. So if it changes, we're gonna call our function that basically says fetch data, right? So we're gonna have a little function called fetch data. It gets called when the URL changes. It's also gonna get called whenever this hook is first called. So I'm gonna have this fetch data, which is just an async function, like this, like that. And this does the fetching. So let's do the fetching. So we're gonna say response equals await fetch with the URL, which was provided to our hook here. Great. We then have the response, which is going to be response.json, and then I'm going to say state.data equals JSON. Great. Watch immediate true. That will make it run immediately. Yeah, how do we do it with the composition API? Let's. I want to find how to do it with the composition API. Wait. Where was the composition API? We'll get there, everyone. We will get there. Introduction. Here we go. Watch. React to changes with watch. Counter, old value, new value. What was the option we wanted? Immediate. Well, here's the thing. The fact that I'm using TypeScript makes it much more complicated. This is your fault. Whoever told me to use TypeScript, this is your fault. Is it watch effect? I don't know. Just so. If we weren't using TypeScript, we'd already be done. Not me. Okay, this is fine. And then it's all your fault. So here's the thing. This is only going to get called once. Now, in React, you're used to, like, whenever you say something like this, you're used to, like, that function is going to get called over and over again, like in every render. This is only going to get called once. And so on first call, we're going to call fetch data. And then anytime, if the URL changes for whatever reason, we're going to refetch that data. Solving TypeScript errors makes me feel productive, right? But are you actually getting anything done? No. Restart again. All right, what is the watch effect? Watch effect. Run a function immediately while reactively tracking its dependencies. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. Thank you. Thank you. So if we do watch effect instead of watch, then I shouldn't have to call it here. This just returns void, right? Why is this complaining? Watch options base type? I guess I don't need to specify this. Look at that. Automatic dependency tracking. Okay. We're going to get there, everyone. We're going to get there. And I'm going to... So this is Vue week. On Friday, I'm going to write more Vue. On Friday, we're not going to use TypeScript. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do all this stuff without TypeScript. This should be fine. We should see the URL has changed now. The URL has changed. Great. Alien, thank you for those 200 bits. We are getting an API error. Specifically with this API, you always have to set the accept header. But it doesn't hurt to set that for any other API that we call. Like, I'm calling you API, and please give me back JSON data so that I can parse it as JSON data. So here we go. The URL has changed. We call the API, we get back the data. Now let's actually use it. And let's also like update our loading state. So when we call fetch data, we're gonna say state.loading is true. After we're done with everything, we'll set state.loading is false. We need to check the response to make sure that it was a successful response, like a 200 status code. And when we first start loading, we're also going to set data to null as well. And if it was not okay, we're going to say state.error equals error fetching data. That's it. We'll just set the error. Should be fine. Should be fine. We probably also want to wrap this like in a try catch. So the thing about fetch is it doesn't throw an exception if it's a non-successful status code. It only throws an exception if it can't like connect to the URL. But technically we should still put it in a try catch in the event that that happens. And if we catch it, we're just gonna do that. Error fetching data, and then let's just append the error message. Like that. Clear. Oh yeah, clear the error if we actually got back data. Oh, actually, we're gonna clear the error on start. So state.error equals nothing. Yeah. Okay. Fetch does return a promise. We are awaiting it. When we call this function, we set loading true. We reset our data to nothing, and we reset our error to the empty string. We call the API. If the response was okay, we're gonna parse the response as JSON and set our data. If the response was not okay, we're going to set our error to be error fetching data. Wow, coding seems cool. Where do I start? Do we have a command for that? Learn coding? How to code? We don't, but we do have this command. Where do I start? Start with the coding train on YouTube. If you check out this playlist, which is called Code! Programming with P5. If you're completely new to all of this, Dr. Daniel Schiffman takes you through the basics of coding and building interactive things. So this playlist is great if you're totally new to coding. This is less of what I'm doing right now. So what I'm doing right now is more of like building front-end applications, like the kind of websites that you would go to and do things on. This is more of like creative coding with visualizations, but it's a great way to learn about like code itself and the underlying logic and how do you make things interactive. So yeah, check that out for sure. And then also Free Code Camp is another place to go. Coding Train is a legend, but Free Code Camp has a totally free curriculum for learning to code. There's a ton of resources. If you search my YouTube channel, I have a video on resources and things like that. Actually, I think I have it in the frequently asked questions too. If you look at the frequently asked questions, under tech preferences, what are some good resources to learn to code? Here we go. Here we go. We'll get you set up. We will learn you codes. Anywhere to learn Docker. Mastermind.io here on Twitch. Mastermundio? Is that it? Yep. Check out Mastermind.io. Also check out Robertables. Robert Tables. Robertables. Like this. He does a lot of Docker as well. Who else? The Alt F4 stream. Is it the Alt F4 stream? Yeah, he does a lot of Docker too. All right, let's keep coding. Let's keep coding. So we've handled all of the different things that we need to care about. We're parsing the response. We're caring about errors. We're catching it if an error happens, all that good stuff. And finally, we set loading to false. Now, let's actually use it. So because I return the state here, we can use it over here. So I'm using this hook with that API URL, and I'm exposing it on my template as dad jokes. So now we can just use it right here. So let's have a div. This is gonna contain all of our dad joke stuff. We're gonna have a like a loading message. So we'll say if dadjokes.loading is true, we're gonna say loading. And if we are not loading and there is an error, then we're going to display that error. Dadjokes.error. Right? Great. And then lastly, if we are, if dadjokes.data has a value, so if dadjokes.data is not null, we could check for that explicitly, is not equal to null, then we're actually going to use it right here. Should we do await useFetch? Nope, because this itself is not returning a promise. This is calling a function, which in turn needs to wait for the response. But in this case, we're just doing that. We could use suspense. Yeah, we'll get there next. Remind me. We'll use suspense. But if the data is not null, then we're going to render it. So let's just show a little div. We're going to repeat over every joke. And well, actually, it's just a. Here's where that type T will come into play. If we look at the response, it is an object that has these three properties: ID, joke, and status. So really what we want to do is we want to say use fetch with type dad joke response, like this. And then we can create an interface dad joke response that has these properties. ID, joke, and status. So ID, let's get rid of all this. No. We'll get there. Give me a second. Actually, let's do this. Cool. So ID is of type string, joke is of type string, and status is of type number. Like that. So I've defined an interface that describes the response I'm going to get back from this API, which is just an object with these three properties. And then I'm saying this useFetch is of type dad joke response. So when we look at dadjokes.data, it's going to tell us that it is of this type. So I'll say v4. For every joke in dadjokes.data, No, it's never mind. We don't need a v4. Because it's not an array. It's not an array. It's just the joke itself. So we'll show, let's do like an h4 with dadjokes.data.joke. Now, right now, I'm not getting autocomplete, and that's because I need to enable a setting inside of Vtur. So I'm going to do that now. But this should work. We're gonna show the joke. Yeah. Welcome home. Why did the M&M go to school? Because it wanted to be a Smartie. Let's take a quick stretch. Yeah, I'll show you really quick that editor trick. For editing multiple lines. So what had happened was so what I wanted to do is I wanted to edit all 3 lines at the same time. So I selected :space. Now, if you press Command D, toggle screencast mode. So if you press Command D on a Mac, it's going to select the next thing that matches that text. So now I have 2 cursors. And if I do it again, now I have 3 cursors. And now I can move these cursors independently. So, or not independently, all together. So if I do Command right, that jumps to the end. If I do Command left, that jumps to the beginning. If I do Command Alt, that jumps over characters or like words. So for me, it's Command D. If you're on a Windows, it's Control D. Okay. Why are those settings not automatically enabled? I think because they're experimental, but let's get it working. Let's get it so that I can, inside of my template here, I can do .data and it'll recommend that. It'll be like, hey, do you want to use .data? Vue experimental template interpolation service. Let's do it. Open settings JSON. We want to say vtur dot experimental dot template interpolation service. And we're going to set it to true. So by setting this to true, it should now do something. I'm going to go ahead and close the files and just reopen them to make sure it kicks in. So we look at our homepage. Let's try it. Dad jokes. Oh, look at this. Dad jokes is an object with properties loading, error, and data. Now, if I say .data, it knows that it is of type dad jokes API response. So it knows that I have these properties ID, joke, and status. So if I do .joke, we know that's a string. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. TypeScript. It's not all that, it's not that bad. This is ridiculous. Well, it's not ridiculous, but this is what's required to make things generic. But I'll show you. We're going to call another API. Now that we've done all this work up front, magic. Yeah. Now that we've done all this work up front, right? We've defined how to call an API, how to set the loading state, how to set the errors. All of this is extremely generic, right? All of this, all we have to do is pass in a new URL and a new generic type, and we can reuse it in exactly the same way. So this is great. We get that. I'm going to add some styles here. Let's put the router view in a class container. There we go. It's a little bit better. And margin top 5. There we go. That's a better. Welcome home. What did the red light say to the green light? Don't look at me. I'm changing. I am so good at pointing at a blue screen. Thank you, Anna Codes. Yeah, so we added some custom styles in for math. So if you use big or if you use H1s, we make the font smaller instead of bigger. You think I can get rid of the record things? Probably. That'll make it look a little bit more simpler. Make it look more simple. I mean, I kind of want to do extends object though. This throws an error. This is like a linter error. Honestly, don't care. I'm going to turn this linter rule off. Don't use object as a type. Use record string. No. Ban types? Wait, what? This is just a linter suggestion that there are certain types we should not use. I'm gonna just turn that off. There we go. Red squiggly line is gone. simply just need T. Oh, the reason that I need extends is because of this? Actually, do I? So I can get rid of it there. Can I get rid of it there? I can. I don't know why that was yelling at us earlier. It said like type T needs to be of type object. I guess so. That's even simpler. That's even simpler. Okay. Now that we have this, I'm going to take a step back, try to explain everything one more time, and then we're going to reuse it. So, and the nice thing about having this useful composition API function is I can do something like this. I can say NASA equals use fetch with the NASA API response. We'll have to define all this stuff, and then I can put in the NASA API.com thing here. I can do this and we're done instantly, but we'll have to figure that out in a second. But let's take a step back and explain what actually is happening here. So here in this usefetch.ts, this is just our hook, our reusable function, our reusable composition function that uses reactive state. So reactive is how we define state that will automatically know when things have changed. Watch effect is a way of watching certain things to know when they change. So in this case, we're just watching the URL. So if somebody changes the URL that gets passed in, like if over here, instead of over here, instead of passing the string in directly, this could come from a prop or something like that. And that way we would know if it ever changed, we could always get the latest state. Let's talk about this type T thing. So T is a generic type. You'll see whenever we use the thing, we're passing in the generic type dad joke response. So what I'm saying is I want to use fetch, and the underlying data that it holds onto is of type dad joke response. And you can see that I've defined dad joke response here. So we have ID is a string, joke is a string, status is a number. And I explicitly define this. I had to go look at the API and see what the response looks like, but I defined this interface so that I can say, my data will be of type dad joke response. Now, on this side, we just call it type T because from the outside world, we can pass in anything we want. In a second, I'm going to do the NASA API. We could do something else with some other API, and whatever type we pass in here becomes generic type T inside of here. So that's mainly why we're doing that. Double Twitch says, how does it work with the data is null? Shouldn't the template throw an error when you access null.joke? Oh, we just have a check on it. So I'm basically saying, only render this if the data is not null. But yeah, you would get a not a type error. You get an error that says cannot access joke of null or something like that. But I've guarded it. I've said this will not render unless data is not null. Okay. I'm selling a calendar. It has a 1-year guarantee. Nice, Paul. Nice. TypeScript error, possibly null. Yeah, we probably would get that TypeScript error if I commented this out. Let's see. Yeah, and you can see the TypeScript error right here. Possibly null. Good job, Robin. And if we actually render it in the UI, let's see what happens. Cannot access property joke of null, but then it ends up working anyways. Like the error happens, but then it does have data and then it re-renders. I don't know. Good morning, Murdoch. Welcome. Regardless, we are going to wrap it in a guard clause because we don't want it to know. Okay, back to it. Now, T is generic. We can pass in anything we want. I've also defined the state that's being held inside of this particular hook function. So our state has loading, our state has error, and our state has data. And data is of type T. So remember, type T can be anything. In this case, type T is going to be a dad joke response, or it can be null. So this, in TypeScript, this is how you can say it can be either of these two types. And then we define our initial state. So our initial state has loading is false, error is an empty string, and data is null. So that's our initial state, and it's reactive. So now, if I modify any of the properties that are on that state variable, Vue automatically knows, the Vue will re-render, things will happen automatically for me. And what I'm returning from this function is the state itself. So these 3 state values, I'm returning this so that it can be used in the outside world. So you can see over here that I have dad jokes equal to the return, and then I'm just putting that here, which means I can access it in my template. So in my template, I can say dadjokes.loading, dadjokes.error, dadjokes.data, because this has all 3 of those properties, right? Automagically. Yes, I did. Automagically. And so now what we're doing is actually this is I mean technically, does it know that watch data is dependent on URL? I don't know. We have to fix this later. It's okay though. But what I'm saying here is fetch data should be called once immediately. And then if URL ever changes, I mean, I kind of want to like pass in URL here. Call it API URL here, and then use it here. And then this is of type string. But basically what this gives us is this is kind of like a dependency. So watch effect will see that this uses URL, which is passed in here. And if this ever changes, if it ever passes in something new, then it's going to recall that function. That should be how it works. We'll refactor it later. I don't know. But if we look at our function, that does all of the handling. So it sets loading to true, it sets data to null, and it sets the error to empty string when we call this function. So that's kind of like setting the default state. We actually make the API request. If the response has a successful status code, we parse it and set it. If it was not successful, we set the error, and then we set, and then if for whatever reason this throws an exception, we also set the error. Watch effect doesn't need empty array as a dependency. No, it doesn't. That's the beautiful thing about Vue is it keeps track of all the dependencies for you. You don't need to tell it you are dependent on these things. It automatically knows because of magic. Will there be an issue of duplicate API calls? Yes. If I use this in multiple components right now, there will be. Every component that uses this will call the API separately. There's a way to fix it. I mean, there's a way to basically say there should be shared state between all instances of this specific URL. We could do that. That gets a little bit more advanced. But I'll tell you this, and I showed it a little bit earlier. These state values that you create, technically, you can put them here. And hey, ST Gonzalez, thank you for that Twitch Prime sub. It's not special. However, in this case, now I need type T, so there's some work I would have to do to get it working. But reactive state, there's also this thing called a ref. Those don't have to be inside of these functions. They can be defined anywhere, and that essentially gives you like a global variable that can be passed around and reused in different instances. Okay, for those of you that were confused about type T, hopefully that helped a little bit. Now let's just reuse it. So we did all that work. We've just talked about this over and over and over. We did this work. Now let's reuse it. So I'm gonna somebody give me another API that we can call. I guess I won't call NASA. I think they require an API key, or do they? We can use the demo one, NASA API. The images API. Hey, that works. Here we go. Let's call this. So we'll call this NASA image, and we're going to call this specific endpoint. So images-api.nasa.gov. We're searching for the moon. We need to define an interface, which is the NASA API response, or NASA image response. Let's call it that. Like this. I don't want to define this type manually, so there are some tools out there where you can give it a JSON object and it will automatically extract the TypeScript types. Response. I fixed it. Response. JSON to TS. I think we've looked at some things before. This one? I think we've used this one before. Generate TypeScript. Wow. Oh, my blue screen! Ah. I'll fix it. Thank you. My screen is being held up with Velcro, and it is slowly losing its stickiness. Right, okay. We don't want a namespace. I mean, technically, I could define these types in a separate file. Everything is a lie. Technically, I'm just going to define all these here, though. Interface. There we go. Okay. Use duct tape. So we have link, which has an href, a rel, and a prompt. We have metadata, link to, render, href, and rel. Let's say that href is possibly undefined. No. Render is possibly undefined. And prompt is possibly undefined. Then we only have link. And then we have datum. I think I'm going to call this image. Then we have item, which has an array of links and has an array of images. We have a collection, which has an array of links, metadata, an array of items, and then this is the NASA image response. there's a lot of types going on here. Give us a PO box so we can shower you with adhesive strips. Oh no, I have plenty. I just need to replace it. Yeah, it's all fake. Let's just take a moment to remember where we are in this beautiful pixelated mountainscape. No, we are in the void. Purgatory. The end. Like, this is what happens when space and time are done. It's over. Or a simulated blue screen, or here we go. This is me. This is me in front of a big old blue screen when 2020 is over. This is the reality of the situation. Just to be clear. But we don't have to think about that. We can just think it's me floating on the thing. Okay. I think I've done this correctly, and I guess basically what I'll show you what we're doing is we've taken. I want it format. Here we go. So this response that we get back from the NASA API is large and involved, right? There's a lot here, but we wanted an interface for it so that way we can actually get some type completion, which is why I generated the types, and then now we have this NASA image API response. So the image API response has a collection property. The collection property has links, metadata, href, and items, like that. An item has potentially an array of links, and then this is eventually what we'll get to, floating in space. Okay, so we've defined all of our types. Now we should be able to do it. So we're going to say the NASA image search is going to be the image API response here, and then we can use it. So pass that in like that. We'll do some good old copy paste. So this was for our dad joke. This is going to be for our NASA API. So if and when the NASA API image search is loading, we're going to show loading. I mean, and the fact that I've copy and pasted this means I probably could turn this into a component, right? A component that displays loading, error, or the data itself. And then like this could be a slot where I could pass in how to render that data. We'll get there. We'll refactor this after this. So if the data is not null, then we want to display it. And actually in this case, we're going to get multiple images. So let's do this. We're going to have a div for every single image. We're going to repeat over NASA image search dot data. So we'll say for image in data dot collection dot I don't know. So for each item in the collection, that should be fine. And then if we want to display the image itself, the source is going to be image dot. No, this is not good. So we have collection dot items, right? Dot items. Here we go. And then each one should have data. So image.data Okay, I need to just look at the response. So we have items. Each item has a links property, an href property, and a data property. I think we want to look at the data property. No, that's the data. If we look at links, oh, links has it. So items.links. And we want to find the one where render is image. Well, that's fine. So we actually need to repeat. We could technically figure out what that is. I don't know. I could create a component. I could create a component that renders the thing. Do we need to worry about XSS? No, so a Vue will automatically escape anything that gets set here. The only time you need to worry about cross-site scripting is if you explicitly use the v-html directive. Otherwise, everything else is escaped, but you can pass in raw HTML here, and that's when you need to be careful. All right, but if we say data, wait, no. Image.links. And this is an array, and we want to find the one where render is equal to image. I mean, really, we can just repeat over it. So we're going to have... I guess an image. Now, we'll have a wrapper. We'll have a span. And we want to repeat this. For image, and let's call this item. This is a little more complicated. I'll say this. It's a little more complicated because there's a bunch of nested properties. We could, here's the thing. We could pass in to our useFetch, we could pass in a data formatter so that instead of having to deal with all of this, we could just deal with a simple array, right? Right? I don't know. I have to go to work, though. We'll fix this and then I have to go to work. I'll just get this working with the v4. There's better ways to do it. So for every item, we'll have an image, and we'll say vif image.render. So if image.render is true, or has a value, then we know that it actually is an image. So we're going to set the source to be image.href. Yeah, so that should be that. Great. Or if rel equals preview, let's do this. If image.rel equals preview. Yep. Okay. Now what is this complaining about? Elements need, yeah. So we need some keys here. So the key in this loop is going to be image.href. It should be different. And the key in this loop is going to be item.href. Yeah, href is always different. Could we have done this with a filter? Yes and no. Yeah, I could create a computed property. This is a perfect scenario to show you a computed property. Let's do it. Let's do it. We have been served. No. So I'm going to show you. So I'm going to create a computed property that's just literally an array of images. That's all I need. Images and titles. So we need computed. Computed is going to look at data. So we have computed. We'll have NASA images. And this is going to look at NASA image search. And we'll say if NASA image search.data, we're going to return some filtered array with values inside of it. Otherwise, we're going to just return an empty array. There we go. This is nice. This is nice. And so now, in our template, we should just be able to iterate over the NASA images. Reduce. Yeah. So we'll get there. Basically, we got to do like this kind of stuff. But what it's going to allow us to do is that our template gets a whole lot simpler. So our template is just going to iterate over every image in NASA images. And we'll literally just show an image. The source will be image.url, and then we can have a little title below it. Little title. image.caption, something like that. Image. Image.url. That's fine. Okay, we're gonna get there. Just wait for it. So now, instead of exposing, well, now we're gonna expose NASA image search because that gives us like our loading variables and stuff like that. But now we have NASA images, and we basically just need to create an array of images. So if data is a thing, then we're gonna say data.collection.items.reduce. So we're gonna reduce this array of items into a new array. Actually, we'll do a map. We'll do a map. It's a map. We're gonna map over each item. And then we want to return item.links.find. We want to find the first one where link.rel is equal to image. Use English. There we go. This is it. This is great. So this is going to do the dirty work of finding those specific images, and we've wrapped that in this nice computed property here. So initially, when we use this fetch thing with the NASA image API response, data is going to be null, and so we return an empty array. And eventually, after the data gets set internally here, Vue is going to know that data has a value, and this is going to rerun and recalculate that mapped array. I think it's preview. So if we look at links, no, it's links.rel. Oh, yeah. Yes, you're right. If rel equals preview. That's going to give us the image. And then we need to return the URL with image.href. But there's more work to do. There's more work to do. Image.href. Why is it getting rid of the dot? We also want a title, and that's going to be what? Item.data at 0.title. That's lame. Data at 0.title. That should do it. And this is possibly undefined. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. Let's force it. Let's say we know that we're going to find something. Item? What's the type here? What is the type of image? href, rel, prompt, or render. What is that thing called? A link. It's a link. I'm forcing it. I'm saying it's never going to be undefined. All right, this should just work. This is just going to work. Loading? Loading? Cannot access property find. Item.links is undefined. Well, I guess not. I guess we're going to have to check for it. So there are some items in here that don't have links. This turned out to be a tricky one. Test fail. Which one doesn't have links? Links. Oh well. This is where we'll use a reduce instead. we could use a filter with a map, but we're gonna use a reduce. So we have our items. Items initially starts off as an array, an empty array. We probably need to create the interface for an item that just has title and URL. But basically what we're gonna say is if item.links, we're gonna do this. And then if we found an image, we're gonna do this. We're gonna say items.push the image, or this, push this. We'll get there. We'll get there, everyone. One moment. Image.href. Great. Okay. So we've got some guards here, and then we always need to return items. Why is this complaining? Push does not exist. Did I put it in the wrong place? What's happening? What does define component take other than setup? You can also register components. So if you have components that you want to use in this template, you register them here for use. There might be a couple of other things, but also there is an experimental thing. I'm getting off on tangents here, but there's an experimental thing to be able to do this. If you put setup right here, and then all of your code can be defined at the top level. We worked with that on Monday. It has some issues. Where do props go? You get access to them right here if you need to use them, and then they automatically get acceptable in the thing. Oh, I didn't put this in the call to reduce. You're right. There we go. Nice. String is not assignable to type never. There's so many types. Why are there so many types? But we'll create an interface for a NASA image, which just has a title, which is a string, and a URL, which is a string, like that. And then this is an array, NASA image array, like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I can say this computed returns an array of NASA image, like that. Beautiful. It's caption, isn't it? We'll have to update that in our type. All right, it's just gonna work. See, it just works. Go forward to the moon. Super blue moon, lunar eclipse. Beautiful. We could add like a Bootstrap card. No, so that's the other thing to learn when moving from React to Vue. The setup function only gets called once. This does not get called multiple times like a functional component in React. It's weird to think about, but basically, this HTML that we've defined up here gets compiled into a render function. But hey, Road Ted, thank you for that Twitch Prime sub. This, even though it looks like HTML, behind the scenes gets turned into a JavaScript render function that returns a virtual DOM tree. So this ultimately is our render function, just the thing that accesses state and props and stuff like that. This is kind of like the created lifecycle hook. So when the component is created, we're going to do these things. And then if we want to tap into mounted and updated and stuff like that, there are other lifecycle hooks. Crash Course, thank you very much for that 4-month resub. All right, why are the interfaces in the same file? Because I'm in a hurry, mainly. We could define these in a separate file, but I don't feel like it. It works. All of this to say, all of this. We now have this reusable useFetch function, right? It's a beautiful thing. We now can reuse it as much as we want. Great. We also have this nice little computed thing where we can take this API response, which is really messy, and turn it into something easy, which is just an array of items. But computed knows to recall this function whenever things update. This is kind of like use memo in React, but you'll notice we don't have to pass in a dependency array. It automatically knows what things it accesses and automatically will recall it when those things change. So this is great. I have to go to work. Are there any other questions or thoughts about this code? We're going to revisit this on Friday. So on Friday, we'll probably rewrite this without TypeScript, just to show you how easy it is without TypeScript. How do you put this into production? I'll do that real quick. Yeah, we'll deploy it. I mean, if I'm going to deploy it, I want my images to look a little bit nicer. Let's do this. Let's give this a class of image. We're going to add a style with Sass. I mean, it doesn't have to be Sass. We're just going to... Actually, we'll do this. We'll say we'll have our section called NASA. And inside of that, you're going to have things that have the class image. We'll use the features of Sass. And so the wrapper container here is going to have a class of NASA. Getting sassy. Yeah. Oh, we didn't use the suspense. We'll use suspense on Friday. We'll use suspense. But basically, suspense would prevent this component from rendering unless the promise was resolved. But technically, I don't want to do that because I want to show the loading state, right? Suspense, I guess suspense can show a loading state. I don't know. All right. And then an image has the image that's inside of the image has a width of 100%. Done. Here we go. So, but here's the other thing though. So because right now, this is hard coded. Our query to Moon is hard coded. Let's allow the user to set what it should be. Right? Okay, so we're gonna have an input, and we're just gonna say this is bound to NASA search like this, and then we're gonna define a reactive property for NASA search. So this is gonna be a ref. NASA search is a ref that starts off with the value moon like this, and ref also gets imported here where computed got imported. And honestly, we're gonna take these interfaces and put them in a separate file because they're getting on my nerves. So we're gonna take these interfaces and we are going to create a new folder for interfaces. Interfaces.ts. Throw all of that in there, and then we need to fix all of our code. So. Will it give me some autocomplete? Can you find it? Can you find the dash? Oh, I need to export them. Ugh. Coding just requires so much code, right? Export. All right, so they're being exported now, so I should be able to import them, and there should be an automatic code action like this. No code actions? Come on. No, not my interfaces. I want to go to my component, and I want this to just say, hey, I know where to find that. Oh well, we can do it manually. Okay, so we need to, after I do one, it'll fix the rest. So import this from @/interfaces/interfaces like that. So that's great, and now it should know where to find this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Is that everything? Not so bad. All right, so now we have NASA search, which is to the moon. To the moon, and we're going to expose that here on our template. So by returning it on the object, it's available. And now, instead of hard coding this right here, we're just going to pass in the template string. So right here, we're going to get the NASA search.value, like this. Bang, zoom, to the moon. That should do it. So by default, it loads moon. Now, the tricky part is I haven't added any debouncing here. So the moment I start typing, it's going to start searching. Watch. Or not. It didn't work. It could be that watch effect earlier isn't doing what I expected. Wow. Yeah, I guess it's because technically this whole URL needs to be reactive. I think that's the issue. Yeah, the whole URL needs to be reactive. So I'm going to create a computed property. Of course, just reach for computed. So I'm going to say search NASA search URL. So this needs to be reactive. So we'll say we'll have a computed property called NASA search URL, which is a computed that just returns this, like that. And we're going to pass in the value here. Haha. Now it should change, right? Or not. Come on. Okay, so it searches for moon, Mars. No. Okay. I guess technically we could pass in the entire thing. Space cows, moo. Without dot value. Maybe that will work. I'll have to update the type though, because over here it expects it to be a string, and then it's just using that string right here. We could say string or a computed type. Let's see what this error is. Argument of type computed ref string is not assignable to parameter of type string. Well, thank you. You are intelligent, or you're unintelligent. Thank you for liking my YouTube. String or a computed ref. Auto import from Vue, yeah. Computed ref of type string. Value does not exist on type string. I guess we'll just always make it a computed ref. That's fine. And then we won't pass it in here. We'll actually just do URL.value like that. It's fine. We'll fix this. We'll have to make the other one a computed ref as well, and then we don't need to pass that in here. This is going to be the winner. Watch me. This is the winner. And then this is now has an error. Dad joke URL is a computed that will literally never change, so it's okay. It gets called once. All right, that is it. Moo! So the tricky part is I have to type everything all at once. So let's search for Mars. Nice. So let's just take a step back and talk about like why this is now working. So inside of use fetch, we are using watch effect. Now, watch effect only knows to recall itself if its dependencies have changed. And in order to watch its dependencies, those dependencies need to be computeds or just regular ref values. I guess technically, this doesn't even need to be a computed. This could have just been a ref, right? A ref like this. But that's the main thing. So for this watch effect to know that it needs to be recalled, the thing that it's dependent on right here needs to be a computed ref. So that works. That's good enough. It's okay with me. We could rewrite the code to like wrap it if it wasn't passed in as a ref, I think. Yeah. But oh well. This is cool. I am excited about this. And we could implement like debouncing to prevent ourselves from, because right now every letter I type is a new API request. Like that. I'm going to run out of API requests. Look at that. Okay. Now, does this demonstrate the usefulness of the composition API? I think so. Like the fact that we have these reusable things is nice. Like I mentioned, we probably could have turned this into a component. But regardless, it's fine. Debouncing means, so right now, every single letter I type in automatically, like instantly updates the state and instantly calls the API. Debouncing would mean I'll wait 500 milliseconds or I'll wait a second between the value changing before I call the API, which would allow me to do something like, wow, really long string. And it would wait until I'm done typing. And I think at this point I have hit the, I have hit my, probably my, what do you call it? Oh no, there's just no response. I was going to say I hit my rate limit, but I guess I didn't. Purposeful lag, yes. But to the user, it just makes sense because they don't want to see the results immediately. They probably want a button that says like search, and then when they click search, that updates it. So I don't know. I'm going to leave right now. This was fun. I'm going to upload all of this code to GitHub. We have this example. We have the examples from yesterday. And then on Friday, we're going to do more stuff with the composition API. More things. I have to think about what those things are going to be, but we're gonna show you. It's kind of like a set timeout. Yeah, honestly, could I implement that really quick? No, I have to go to work. I have to go to work. The other thing we could do is implement caching. That's one thing we didn't do here. Something like this. We'll call this. Well, no, we wouldn't want to cache with the random API. Ugh. Type T. Right? Object. We're going to create a cache before I go. And we'll also pass in an option here. So we'll say cache defaults to false. So by default, we're not going to cache. Let's call this the data cache. And so when we get back an API response, like right here, we're going to say data cache dot set with the current URL dot value and that JSON itself. Quick stretch. What's the difference between a map and an array? A map is kind of like an object. It has keys and values. An array is just a list. The only way to access things in the array is to know the index, whereas a map, you can pass in a specific key to get access to that value. So here we're setting the key to be the URL that you made the request to, and then the response there. And so what we're going to do is right here, we'll say if data cache dot has that value, URL value, then we're going to do the thing. Otherwise, we're actually going to make the request. So if it has it, we're just going to set state.data to be data cache.get URL.value. Should be it. And we can just say as type T, right? T is not assignable to type unwrap ref T. Well, I can do that too. Unwrap ref this thing. Great. This should now do it. But now over here for the NASA API, I'm going to say cache true. So, I don't know. If cache, then we set it. Otherwise, we're never going to set it, and it's never going to be available. That should do it. Now we'll get back some faster responses. So we have moon. We'll type in Mars, like that. But if I type in moon, the responses, wait, what? Responses should be instant. Maybe we just got back some new, what? I guess those are astronauts. Something weird's happening, but I'm done. I broke it, but I'm done. I don't care. An array is a weak map. Sure. All right, I gotta go. Change cache to true? I thought I did. Doesn't matter. I'm done. I'm gonna push this code up. You can fix it with a pull request if you want to. This was fun. Tune in Friday. We're gonna do more composition API stuff. It's gonna be potentially more complex than this, but with less TypeScript. I don't know. I think the main reason I trip over TypeScript is because I don't use it as much, which makes me slower. It makes things seem more complicated. I mean, they're technically more complicated because we're adding types to everything. I don't know. I work at a software consultancy in Denver, Colorado. Well, that's it. We're going to raid somebody. Let's get those raid messages ready. If you are a sub, that's your raid message. If you're not a sub, this is your raid message. Right about there. Wherever we go, show them lots of love. Drop a follow if you like what they're doing, all that good stuff. Tune in Friday around the same time. Yeah, around the same time. And we're going to do more Vue stuff. I appreciate you all. Follow me on all the social places if you'd like to do that. Thank you all for the follows today. We got quite a few. 125 follows today. I thank you all. I thank you. Alrighty. That's it. And check out Melky Dev and any other of the live coders that were hanging out in here today. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.